The front fender on the left side was all rotted at the bottom, but it was all rotted around the wheel well. And when we're into the fender extension, and I made it all.
We have our returning guest, Jay Abbey, Mr. Muscle Car.
Yeah, there you go.
Who actually drove his muscle car here today, which is really cool. And for those of you who are watching our podcast on YouTube or any of the video segments, you'll actually be able to see some B-roll of it because we're going to throw the car in there. I love it. I'm jealous. He's driving in this nice little Camaro.
Thank you, pal. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And so, as usual, I'm letting ChatGPT run my life. So we have some good questions here. Since Jay is our first returning viewer, he's getting the first of our new goodie bags, which are going to try to get those better.
Yeah, these are nice. You guys, look at that. Mixing cups, touch-up brushes. Oh, what do you call it? Those brake knives? Yeah, we got all kinds of, there's all kinds of good stuff.
You know what's funny? So I got you.
It's like being at a car show.
I got you the duster for your car, and I go, I know it. He's going to be like, I don't use those damn things.
You know, and I didn't even tell you I was going to bring the car. Oh, man, some crystal tack rags. Wow, that's stuff I'm actually going to use.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, man, dude. This is better than a car show goodie bag.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've been doing. I give all the goodie bags at all the car shows.
Man.
See, I thought you were going to say you're not going to use that because it's going to scratch the shit out of your car.
No, I just bought one. I bought the bigger one. I just bought the bigger one. Yeah, but yeah, I know a guy that can fix my car if it gets scratched.
Yeah. Just you paint it yourself.
Yeah, you know, so.
Not that you want to, right?
I'll just paint it again. You know? Wow, thank you very much. I appreciate that. No
problem. So,
I had known that.
ChatGPT says, ChatGPT has said, what has happened since the last time you've been out here? Anything in the shop, different news? Obviously,
you know the biggest news that happened to me. The biggest news that happened to me was my landlord was going to sell the building. Unbeknownst to me, I did not know that was going to happen. The guy that was purchasing it came to me. I was sitting in the parking lot because I was in the middle of painting a van. So I was just sitting there kind of getting some fresh air. And the guy, I know him, walks up to me and goes, hey, Jay, you know him? Yeah. And he goes, I'm letting you know when I buy the place, you're out. The guy next door, there's a house in the front that they rent. Everybody was going to get thrown out. And I'm kind of totally surprised. Was just the last thing I was expecting.
You've been there forever.
I knew the landlord was eventually going to sell the building, but this was not in the cards. And so I was, okay, what else am I supposed to say? I didn't know what to do. So the next thing I finished what I had to do, paint, and then that night I did call my landlord, and he's like, well, that's news to me. So that started to segue into, well, what's going on? Now, I think if anything, it put more questions in my brain than anything else. So of course I got nervous because I don't want to close. I'm not ready. I wasn't ready. So I ended up basically kind of getting a little nervous. I ended up having to come over here for something, talk to you. Oh, I forgot what I came here for. But anyway, you and I got talking about it. You stepped up to the plate big time. You offered me something. Now, a couple other people heard about it. And the one thing I will say, some of my competitors, who are my friends like you and Rob and a few other people, really stepped up to the plate and offered me either a building or were offering me a job, were offering me a place to go. And first thing I thought to myself is, I was just more stunned on that part. You stepped up the biggest with offering me a space, but other friends of mine offered me jobs. I was kind of, I think, more floored and more appreciative, and to show that your competitor doesn't have to be your enemy, and which you and I discussed when we talked about it years ago. I don't know, I think that part to me kind of inspired me to like, I got to dig a little harder at this. Because, I mean, you've been in my shop. There's a lot of equipment to move. And at my age, I'm 61 now, to sit there and move all that
Nobody wants to do that.
Was starting not to make a lot of sense. So I was like, okay. So another phone call to the landlord. I'm like, I at least want to get to 62 to get Social Security or whatever, and then maybe worry about it later on. But then, knock on wood, my landlord's like, Jay, whatever I do, I'll put it in writing that you'd have 2 or 3 years or whatever I would need to get out. Because how am I going to be in a restoration business taking a car apart, then find out I got to be out in 30 days? That wasn't going to make any sense. And that's what I said to the landlord. I just can't do that to my customer. I can't do that. That was the biggest thing that happened to me as far as that goes. And of course, right now, I've got some of the best paying customers I've ever had in my life, and in this industry,
That's rare.
that's rare. So that also was weighing on me. I'm like, man, I got 3 cars going on right now. They're the best customers, top 5 customers I've ever had in my life, and I've got some really good ones also in the chute. And again, you know that. Some of your other previous guests know that, and I didn't want to give that up.
That's tough. You were in a really tough spot. I'm glad it worked out for you because it's like I thought about. That's why one of the reasons I felt the worst is that every time I look around, I go, it's hard enough to work during the day and get a minute to yourself for your life at home.
Yes.
And then to think about having to move everything again. And what sucks is just like at work when there's no young people to do the work anymore.
Right.
There's no young people to move stuff.
Yes.
To do that stuff, and I'm tired.
Dude, and again, I mean, my buddy Paul, my buddy Rob, who owns Muscle Car Specialties, my buddy Chuck. I had a lot of friends said if you need help to move, that they were going to help.
That's what I think. Everybody, there's so many good. My whole life, I've always looked at this business differently. Like some people get so competitive, but I always try to work together with people because it's just it's too small of a community.
Honestly, because when you say that, when I was a kid, my father had the hardware store, and then I had the power equipment shop. I grew up actually fixing lawnmowers and stuff too, and I had the power equipment shop. And I'll never forget the time I needed a part to fix a lawnmower, and I needed to get it done.
Yeah.
And I went down. I said to my father, "I'm going to go down there." At that time, it was called Maple Inn Hardware. It was our competition. I'm going to go down there because I called there, and they had the part I need. I need the part to finish it, to get it back to the customer, and then, of course, obviously to get paid to make money. To me, what's more important is the customer and the machine getting done and getting out the door. I went down there, and of course, even when I walked in, they were all looking at me like, what is our competition doing here? And I'm like, well, I'm not really competition. I'm just here really for the customer. To me, the customer is going to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay you your money that you want for the part. So I'm like anybody else, whatever you want for the part, I will pay you, and then I will leave and go on my way. And next thing you know, it was like my father was scratching his head, not mad, just scratching his head. Don at the time owned it, and his nephew John that worked there, who John and I eventually ended up becoming very good friends. Danny, who was the mechanic, had been there for 40 years. Everybody was baffled that the competition came in and walked in. And once I did that, next thing you know, a couple weeks later, they called me up. They needed a part for an Ariens snowblower. And next thing, and then down the street, City Hardware. Man, what do you mean? So the next thing they're calling. Next thing you know, we're all buying parts because, again, the customer wins.
Yeah.
The customer wins. And it worked out great. And I've led the same life in this business. I've truly tried to stay friends with my competition because, like you and I discussed in the first video, there's plenty of work.
Yeah, the problem is so that's one of the reasons I loved the upholstery business originally was that it was like that times 10. Like I remember Kenny Irene did upholstery. Anytime you needed something, he would always, you need soap foam, whatever it cost me, it cost you. Just always good, or even
or an R&R, replace it,
exactly,
remove it, replace it for me, whatever.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I love that part of the industry. Now it's funny because the upholstery business is the opposite now because there's like 5 or 6 upholsterers that I wanted to have come on this, and they are your competitor because they're local, but. Like one of them just talks so much crap about me, and I don't even know him. So you're like, why would you do that when it's such a we could work together? Because honestly, you have to really suck in this business to have to work.
I think sometimes your competition tries to undermine you, even though they don't know you. Because the customer, like when we had that customer who tried to do that between us, it was more of the undermining. I don't know what they were going to get out of it. I don't know what I never knew what Charlie was going to get out of it. What was he going to win? I never understood
beat us down
it.
On the prices.
What you and I did for him today, I couldn't even sit there and consider doing that kind of work for a week, let alone the amount of time I spent on it, let alone the amount of time that you spent on it. We couldn't even consider it today. Couldn't even consider it today. But I still can't understand. I never have been able to understand the undermining of it, and I guess I think what kind of got more to me was I needed to clear some air because, man, this is, and then when I ran into AutoZone, we really need to have a conversation because something's getting miscued here. Something's not right. And we worked it out great. Actually, there was really nothing to work out. In the end, there was nothing to work out. So, I still think today, some of the guys still think that way. Not the guys that I'm dealing with right now. My friends in this business, I'm not. But I'm not saying there's not guys out there. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. But to me, it's to hide their weakness. I think. It's to hide their weakness.
Yeah.
It's they want to make themselves look good. I'm going to say that his work is bad or her work is bad or that shop is bad because I really suck at what I do.
It's funny because I find the guys that I feel are really good at what they do don't bullshit because we all have good and bad days. We all mess things up.
Yeah.
And the ones that try to be so professional that they hide everything are usually the ones that are bad-mouthing people because they don't want people to see that they act. Like with our YouTube videos, we show people the mistakes and how to fix them.
Yes.
Because we make mistakes every day.
Every day.
You know, when you're fabbing a panel, sometimes it's not the first. You don't go through and just make the first one that fits. Sometimes you make 5, 10. Sometimes you want to give up.
I'm like you. I follow a lot of different guys
Yep.
on YouTube that I find fascinating. I tend to follow more of the guy that is trying to teach the homeowner, the guy in his garage. I don't really so much follow the higher end shops. I mean, I do like you said on your other video with Mark, the Fat Fender Garage. I mean, I do like those guys, and I watch all those guys.
Well,
but they're at a level that even I'm not at. But I try to keep a simple garage. Who I follow, Al. I know Al, but I like him working in his 2-car garage, showing a guy that can go by a welder and how to put in a floor pan. It might be lapped in. I like to butt weld, but that's just what I like to do. Yep. What he's showing you, it's fine. Yep. It works. It's great for a guy that can't afford a $180 an hour shop, but can afford to try and make some hours in his life to do the work, and then also realizes, God, this takes a lot of time. And then on a Saturday and a Sunday, I worked in my garage all weekend. This is all I got done. Yeah. Welcome to my world.
You said you watched the Make It Customs, right? The Japans guy.
Yes.
I love him. He's a good dude.
Yep.
He's actually super talented too, like big talent. That actually is on YouTube now too. The Cornfield Customs.
Cornfield, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, his stuff is. I mean, his shop too is. It's.
He's all the tools you want. It's like set up like you would want it, where you have everything, like a kid in a candy store. Like,
I mean, he's the guy that if you got this oddball car that needs a door skin or a fender, kind of like Melnick in Bristol.
Yep.
They'll make you a fender for a Mack truck.
You know, that is such an seen shop. Like,
oh yeah,
that's the father and son, right?
Yes,
yeah. They're incredible work.
They're not cheap.
No, they can't be.
They're not cheap. I mean, but they'll make you a wrought iron rail and they'll make you whatever you want. But the thing is, too, you're going to pay for it. But the quality.
Last time I was up there, it was a long time ago, but they were doing a belly pan race car.
Yes.
All hand formed. I'm assuming they finished it by now.
When I was at East Coast, they made us a trunk pan. And I made the entire trunk pan out of a wooden cardboard template. So I did it. I put all the ribs in it. And I sent it off to them, through Wayne. And they were like, dude, who made this fucking template? Because I had to line it up with the little bit of floor I had left. We were raising the floor. And they came back then. I went right in and they were like, man, this guy made a nice template. But you had to make a nice template to get a nice piece.
That's it's funny because their shop's the same thing. It's almost like when you're really good at something, you rather have more tools and equipment than the actual vehicles you work on.
Oh, sure.
Because they have so much cool stuff.
Right.
Old machines, like stuff that you would kill for.
And I try not to, like even in my shop, I try not to get, I try not to bring in a job that I really can't. There's not much I can't handle, but I couldn't bring in like a 31 Ford and the guy says, well, I want a steel fender made by hand. I can't. Yeah. That's not me. That's not me.
Well, I mean, it's not even knowing your limitations. You have a really good niche with the muscle cars.
Yeah.
Luckily, a lot of stuff you could buy and then fabricate what you can't. And like up here in the Northeast, there's not people building like lead sleds where you're actually doing coach work and stuff like that. Hey guys, I just wanted to give a brief interruption for all of you who are passionate about the trades and want to help and support us. Please make sure to check out bluecollarclassified.com. It's a place where businesses could connect with employees, employees could connect with businesses, people could go to see local businesses that they should support and work with, places that are involved heavily in our industry and that are passionate about what they do. Also, you could also support by going to atomicautoworks.com, and we have special programs that we are always putting on. Currently, we are doing a toolbox giveaway, one for an auto body technician and one for an auto upholstery technician. And by supporting and helping, what you're doing is helping someone either get into our trade, get a little leg up, have some cool tools to get a little forward, a little advanced movement in their career, or someone who's already in the trade who might need a little help. Someone who's like, you got the tools, but you want better tools, or you need tools because, let's face it, with inflation and all the stuff going on in the world, it's very expensive to do what we do, and we need people who are working hard. So don't forget to check out bluecollarclassified.com and atomicautoworks.com. And now back to the podcast.
No.
You know, I mean, you want it; it'd be really nice, but then
the
those are
custom world
cars.
isn't as big in Connecticut. You know, the big custom, like you said. I mean, there's a couple guys that got them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But a smart guy buys one done.
Yeah.
Instead of paying, you know what I mean? Buys one done. But there's not that much here. The muscle cars are much more prevalent in Connecticut, and believe it, the foreign car market is pretty
huge.
I went to actually a show down in Brantford a while ago with my wife and my car, and there a bunch of guys came in with the Toyota Corollas. They were all Spanish Puerto Rican guys. They were awesome and talented. When I tell you talented, and some of the other guys were mad that these foreign cars are coming in. I'm like, they're not foreign cars. They're not. They're like, they're new. I go, that's a 71 Toyota. You can't even get parts for these things. These are more rare than your 55 Chevy.
Yeah.
And I tell you, when these things were beautiful, and then I tell you, there was one that showed up with a roll cage with a 4-cylinder with a Charger on it, with a Project. I'm like, this thing's gonna blow. I go, this car would blow your door.
Oh my Lord.
This thing was, oh my God. I'm over there. I was one of the few guys over there looking at them all because all of them had beautiful paint jobs on
Those are
them.
the cars that I got cut my teeth on, a lot of those. And what's funny is, you want to talk about passion. They drop their car off, and you have to have a signed contract, and no one can see their car. And it's true. The second they know you're building a car for so and so, all their friends are trying to see.
It was at a level, and I was, I think, a little upset that the older guys that were sitting there were not really appreciating the car. They were looking more at the ethnic side of it. I think I didn't. I'm like, you guys are not looking at that workmanship in that car. And there's just as much money, maybe more, in that car than there is in a 55 Chevy, a fiberglass body, 34.4. Yeah, these guys these things are unreal. Right-hand drive, some of them. Yeah. You guys, you're not appreciating. And is it the type of car I'm going to go buy? No.
I would like to see you in a 1962 Toyota Corolla.
I know. But my little 04 Corolla. I'm a little tight in that thing sometimes, but yeah, I thought the appreciation of that was cool. But
that's being a true car guy. You know, when you appreciate.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not a Ferrari guy. I'm not a McLaren guy. I'm not any of that stuff. But when I go down to Marco Island to my brother-in-law's house, and we go to the Naples Car Show, and well, that's what it's put on by a Ferrari club. Yeah. So there's that old ones, and again, my knowledge of Ferrari is 0, maybe a 1. But my appreciation for them is like anybody else. I'm at a 10. I can appreciate them.
Yeah, I love the vintage stuff, the newer stuff. I mean, it'd be probably really nice to drive or be able to afford to drive one of those. For me, being in the trenches, working on vehicles, I'm always drawn towards the ones that you have to build.
Yes.
You know, I just know what it is.
I do too. I mean, that's me. I'm definitely much more of a hands-on guy. I mean, you know, my Camaro that's out here now, I'm building a 71 Nova now also for myself. Plus just the cars I got going on in my shop and the ones waiting to come in. It's definitely the appreciation of building them and enjoy building them.
People don't understand, like, when you do it for a living and you still love it afterwards, how much commitment you have to be able to take your free time and continue working on vehicles. Yeah,
some people I think, how do I do it all week and then actually want to go home and work on my car on the weekend? I was kind of disappointed it was so hot that I really couldn't work on my Nova, and I like the car. I like the car, and I want to get it done. And I don't know, I'm pushing hard to get it done. It won't be ready this year. It'll be ready next year. And again, not going to be a show car. I'm not detailing the underneath. It's going to be a driver, just like my Camaro. I'm a driver guy.
Whatever happened? Remember that Nova that E-Muscle was building that they had like?
They put all the '69 Camaro stuff and stuff.
It was like huge money into it, and then they were selling it for really cheap. Did someone end up buying that?
Yeah. It went to, I think somebody like in the southern part of Connecticut, like in Milford. I think it ended up down there. They ended up having to get rid of a few cars. I'm not quite sure what everything happened with some of it.
I just remember because they had like 300,000 into that car, and then it was like they were selling it for 10 grand.
Yeah, it only got the primer too, I think.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't think the door skins were fully welded on.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really quite. I followed it a little bit here and there when Brian and I were, we were talking. But I don't really quite know.
Yeah, I just remember someone saying they were selling it, and then I was wondering because you figure that would have been a cool car for someone to build. That was a 71.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. There was definitely. That's why I don't. Again, even me, knowing that what I can do, but even I don't go that radical. I don't take the bumpers off, shave them. Maybe I'm cheap. I don't really want to spend. I don't really want to spend all that time cutting the bumpers all up, making them all nice, and then got to send them out to $1,800 to get each bumper re-chromed.
Yeah.
It's not in the budget for me. And honestly,
It's hard
I
to get
still
paid for
like
it.
I still like the old car look. Like my Nova right now, everybody takes off that belt molding side trim.
Yep.
I like that molding. I don't know. I'm putting it all back on. A friend of mine, Scott Fritz, who used to work at Ground Up, he had a bunch of parts left over when he built his Novas. So he bought like doubles and triples and everything. It's just the way he is. So he got a hold of me and says, "Jay, here, you looking for a bunch of parts?" So he had all that stuff brand new, the rocker moldings. I like all that. That to me is what drew me to classic cars. I like all the trim. I like all that trim. I'm putting it all back on. A lot of guys take all that off.
That's the thing is, I commend people who do it the way they want it and not the way other people.
Yeah.
If a million people tell you it's great and one person tells you it sucks and you do what they want but you like the other way, to me you're just a sellout. You just do it the way you love.
Oh, well, like when you went out, when I pulled up, you went out, you saw the car, and the first thing out of your mouth was you liked the color.
Yeah, love it. Yeah.
And everybody with the color is that I've been getting a lot of good. Yeah, I haven't had it out that much,
Yep.
But a lot of people are like, "Oh man, I really love the color. It looks right on the car. It looks what you
That car
said.
looks perfect. It's like it's clean. It's
Not overdone."
No, it's very nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
Well done.
thank you. Thank you.
I mean, it's funny because I know obviously you moved the quarter panel, so you technically gapped it.
Right.
But still, it's like you could see that it was gapped better. Because
Yeah.
they don't look that well.
Although I did notice the other day that the gap on the left fender's got a little big on the door. I'm like, what's going on? I reached underneath. I forgot to tighten up the radiator bolt, so it moved. So I tightened up one,
Yeah.
but then I was leaving to go to, it used to be Marty's in Westbrook.
Yeah.
And it got bought and sold several times over the years. But Rockin' Richard, who does the DJing, went 30 years ago when I was going with my blue 69 Z28. I ran into him and he told me they were going to start it again, which was last Wednesday.
I wonder who's doing that because my father used to be really good friends with Don, who put that on, and then I think Don passed away.
No.
Don's still alive.
Don's wife passed away.
Don's wife passed away.
She passed away. It was actually her cruise. So I was going to lead into the
Oh, my
story.
God.
So while we're there, so I see Rockin' Richard. He tells me about it. So my wife and I, we want to go. It's going to be last Wednesday was the first night. So okay, so we drive. We get there. Now it's an Italian restaurant. And what happened? Rockin' Richard had gone there to eat. The guy was telling him, "Oh, I heard about this cruise." He speaks broken Italian, broken English. And, oh, wow, I heard about it. It's like legendary. And it was.
Yep.
When I went there 30 years ago, there used to be 150 cars. But people, their summer vacations, coming there and seeing the cars. And so when I got there, Don sees me. Don saw me. Now, I haven't seen any of these people for 7-8 years since they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And Don, he's in a wheelchair. He's in a power chair now because he broke his back. And then he starts telling me, "Oh, my wife passed away," and this and that. I'm like, "Oh,
I feel as soon as you said it, took the wind out of me. Someone had told me he passed.
Somebody told me he passed away too.
Yeah, and I tried to look at because my father they were really close, and then my father got sick. They used to do car show stuff together all the time. What's his wife?
Don
Mark.
raced. Don used to race.
Yeah.
Yep,
And then they used to go out to dinner, my parents and them, and yeah, that's sad. That sucks. I got to tell
Yeah,
him.
so he ended up talking to me for a while. So I mean, why didn't he have pictures of his wife there when they were like 15
Because
when they met?
I noticed they're doing the cruise, and he's had them by the.
The Good Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'll
was
go to
his-
that tonight.
That's his too, right?
No, that's the Misfit Cruisers.
That was Don though. Are you talking about a different Don?
Maybe, I don't know.
Don
'cause
Brooks.
Don, I don't know his last name. I never knew his last name.
He had like the orange 33.
33 Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had a Mercury.
Yeah, that he raced. But one car he raced.
Those he didn't race. He's like a shorter guy.
No, Don Saw. The one Don I'm thinking about
Okay,
is
so it's
Saw.
a different Don.
Okay, different Don.
Yeah, I'm talking about Don Brooks.
Okay.
But he started the Misfit Cruise.
Okay, yeah, okay. This guy George, I believe his name is, that runs it now.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
maybe Don did pass away.
I'll go to that. I like because it's local, so I shoot down there. I try and get down there twice a month. They do it every week if it doesn't rain. So I try to get down there because again, it's a local. I know a lot of the guys down there. It's just I go the old Route 9 in the back. It's a beautiful ride, and I just shoot down there.
I'm gonna get the wire harness in my mother's car and do the brakes and bring her over there if she wants to get out there and enjoy it.
Yeah, and my wife, she'll go with me because a lot of people are there from Deep River and Chester. My wife's from
Yes.
Chester.
Oh, is
so
she
my,
really?
my wife will get there and she actually, there's a couple people she graduated high school with that were there. So it was even for my wife, it's fun to go because she'll get to see people that she doesn't really see too often, you know, unless you go
Small
see my
world.
brother-in-law play down in the shoreline. So it's a nice cruise. 40 cars, 45 cars.
Good people there.
I mean, it's not a, it's not a 150, 200 car cruise, but maybe 40, 45
It's
cars.
funny because I avoid them for the same reasons you do. Because as soon as I say I want to go, then I think about all the people and all the questions and like, oh, how much
Down there, I think I've got them all trained. They don't, they don't really bother me. I'm like, hey, I'm here to have just a break.
I feel bad because, like you were saying off camera, is the when you tell someone a price, because everybody's like, how much it costs to make a headliner? And like, yeah, in like a 32 Ford, we used to do like headliners for $600, 30 years ago or whatever. And then you tell them it's like thousands. They're like, oh, and it just scares them. These people are like in their 80s now. They've been waiting a long time and they don't want to spend that kind of loot.
Right. And again, like what you've said, what else has changed in my life and in the industry? I think the cost of materials has definitely skyrocketed to make people really think about their budget. So kind of what I have been trying to do with my shop is I just do the body and paint now. You take it back. You assemble it.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to work on it anymore. You don't want to pay anymore. And now you take it home.
The hardest part is the final assembly, and it's always been that way because it takes as long to do that as it does to do the body work. It's the finesse work, putting the bright trim on, doing bright work, all that stuff. It's just people don't want to pay for it, and you sit there and go, okay, you go put your head, like you go put the sliding headlights in there.
Yeah,
get the air working or switch over to electric.
And I hand them back. They give me a roller. I do the metal work, fabrication work, whatever I got to do, body paint, and then, something. You go now, and you will find out life gets in the way. You got a birthday party to go on Saturday. You don't work in the car. Oh, we need to take some time off, or we got to go here. We're going to go away on vacation. You don't work in the car. Then you go, man, that car's been in there for 2 years, and I haven't have it back together yet.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world.
Well, it's funny because I have a couple of my old-timer customers years ago that had very wealthy, that's been through this process multiple times. They would tell you, listen, I want you to put your guys on it and stay on it until it's done. I know it takes a long time, but I'm willing to pay, because they understood that, like Stinky Steve there is always like, if the windshield wipers don't work, the radio doesn't work, that type of stuff, it's not finished.
Right.
And it's so true. But to get that stuff done, people don't understand that's a lot of time.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. If you really want every light, everything to work, and everything, and you're handing me back the old wiring harness that's been all chopped up, cut up, and I'm sitting there going, and I just got to the point to where you feel a little guilty. How many hours can you really charge them? And then I'm always like, man, why am I going to take the hit now? Now I'm going to take the hit. And I'm not trying to be selfish, but I think people forget that, I have a mortgage at home, and I have to buy groceries. Guess what? All your bills went up at home. All mine went up.
They act sometimes as if they're blessing you with, or allowing you to work on their cars again, because you're just sitting there waiting. I need this. I need this. I need this.
Yeah, because when you sit there and tell me, everything at my house has gone up, well, okay, what do you think happened to me?
Yeah.
I have a home, and guess what?
And a shop.
I have a business that I also got to pay for. Yeah. You don't think I'm scared to death to buy oil this year for my shop? You don't think? You don't tell me you're nervous this year about buying gas?
Well, thanks, Jay. You just made me want to throw up.
Sorry, but I'm thinking about, here it is, first week of August, and I'm saying to myself, oh man, because I just got my bill from Daniel's Oil. I do the payment plan, and it went up $120.
Oh yeah,
a month.
Yeah, it's funny because I did my mother's electric this morning. I'm like, I got to pay it today, and she's on a payment plan. It's $500 a month. You're on a fixed income, and you're paying $500 a month for.
I mean, you and I are on a fixed income.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
trying to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. It's broke, and I'm trying to fix it. Exactly. But like I said, right now I got really good customers, but it seems like the money is not lasting that long anymore.
No.
And it seems like I'll get a check from a customer. If I used to get a check for $10,000, man, I could stretch that out for 3 months. I can barely get 6 weeks out of $10,000 now, and I don't live my life lavishly. Nor do you.
Yeah, no.
And I live. I'm like anybody else. My wife and I, when she first retired, we used to go out to dinner, maybe 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week, but now we're down to one. We're Friday nights, and we're both like, I mean, granted, it's made Friday night more enjoyable, you know? But the one thing I did notice when we were at the Marty's Cruise, though, or I shouldn't have called it Marty's, I don't know the name of the restaurant now, but like Route 1, there was nobody.
It's weird,
It was
right?
dead. The Dairy Queen across the street, when we used to go there, I used to be with my buddy Les Smith there, who was a New London cop. And him and I'm not a big ice cream guy, but him and my wife would go there for ice cream. Used to take them 10 minutes just across the street because Route 1 used to be so busy. Then to go wait in line for 40 minutes at the Dairy Queen because it'd be out the door. We were there till 7:30. There was never a line out the door. And Route 1, that traffic light that's right there, never got more.
This is the prime season.
August, yeah. Last week of July, first week of August.
That's crazy.
I couldn't believe it. So so you noticed, and even the restaurant was busy, but not that busy. And then even the week prior, we went to another restaurant down in Westbrook because my brother-in-law was playing at a bar Friday night at 7:30.
Well, do you know what's funny too is this year, it goes to show you the economy is pretty tough because there's still a lot of vacation rental places available.
Yes.
That's crazy. You never see that. Normally, if you're not a year ahead,
right,
you're done.
Yes. Yeah. So and I think that's cascading a little bit over into. I mean, I'm busy. I got a lot of work. I'm busy. There's not a problem with it. I've got people now that have been waiting for me for a couple of years to come in. That's why I was so nervous when the building debacle happened. It was more, what am I going to do with all these people? What am I going to do with all this work? Because it's good work.
Yeah.
It's good work. It's good money. So that was really my biggest concern. And then I'm like, I'm still busy doing that. And again, so are my friends that are like me, 1 or 2 man shops. I think are doing better than some of the bigger shops.
Without a doubt. And it's funny because I think we touched on this before. Is what's difficult. You know what's funny? Tommy Ingalls told me this when I was I had to be 22.
Tommy was the man.
Yeah, he's like, you can't turn custom into production. And my whole life, you know me, I've been fighting to do that. And honestly, if you really love what you do, stepping back and doing it is better than trying. Because when you're trying to create a shop with a bunch of employees to do your dream, they kind of suck your dream away. And you end up doing nothing. Like for the last, 6 years, 7 years, I've really built nothing. I've done nothing great that I'm proud of because it's just been dealing with employee issues and business issues. And then when you get in the shop, they're supposed to be working on your dream, what you want to do.
Your dream,
but
right.
they never do the quality that you do.
Well, I mean, over the years that you and I have talked, I mean, over the last 10 years that you and I have talked, long before you were doing the podcast stuff, you had that. I didn't. I didn't have an employee. Yeah. I mean, I had part-timers here and there. I didn't. And I over the years, I saw your frustration.
Yeah.
I saw it. But I saw what you just said. You were trying to get here.
Yeah.
And you were trying to lead.
Yep.
And they were like kids in second grade, not paying attention to what was going on. And that's kind of. But when I was in the collision side of things and saw that, I mostly saw people not really giving a shit about getting the customer's car done out and out because they thought, well, I worked at a dealership. Dealership's got a lot of money. Kind of fuck the dealership if the car doesn't get out today. And I used to look at it as the only person who's really going to lose here is the customer. You guys have lost sight on the customer, and you shouldn't think that just because, okay, the owner of the dealership maybe is a millionaire, but he wasn't always. No. And he got there, and he got there with the better people. And people like you eventually get left behind. And that unfortunately is where a lot of businesses end up having to go. You finally got to go, I need to get rid of you, I need to get rid of you, I need to get rid of you. And I mean, thankfully, out of all the jobs I've ever had, I know for a fact that I think all of them would hire me back.
Yeah. Yeah, you've lived on good terms with everybody.
I have. I've left on good terms. I always did
Plus,
good work.
they're so damn desperate.
But but you see, I mostly care about the customer. Because without them,
you're nothing.
First of all, without them, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to be sitting here if you had no customers walking through that door, especially repeat customers. I got a friend of mine that owns Village Motors in New Britain. Him and his dad, they've been at it for 40 years, and he's like, now they don't worry about advertising because they've been there so long and they've done such a good job. They live off their repeat customers.
That's all it is. It's funny because one of I won't say his name because it's mean, but one of my friends who has a shop, he asked me probably 8 years ago, he goes, "Do you ever get repeat customer?" I said, "Almost all my work's repeat customers." He goes, "I've never had one." I'm like,
Nah.
that's like scary.
If you have to wake up, and I just saw him at the gym this morning. I was at the gym, and I said to him, I said, you know, if you had to wake up every day, and there's a lot of used car dealerships that are like that. They screw people because why is somebody else going to walk through the door? Sooner or later, people stop walking through that door because you have that reputation. And so I said to him today, I said, isn't it nice knowing? He goes, yeah, I'm going to sell. I got 3 cars sold today. I got 3 or 4 people coming in after like 1 o'clock. And he goes, I bet you I'm going to have a 7-car day. You know? And I'm like, yep, good for you, man.
It's funny because that's one thing John said yesterday in our meeting was that he had mentioned about how his customers will bring their kids and future people.
Yeah.
And I've been telling that to car dealers for years now, saying that you have to go back to the way it used to be. When you used to go to Jackson Chevrolet, you would go to see Mike and bring your whole family to him.
Yeah.
Your sisters and mothers and cousins.
But it started from when you bought the car. You got, well, Bob Magnano was at Chevrolet forever. And then you went to the service department. You got to know the service writer because he was there for a long time.
Yes,
so you got to know you got to know them and you felt comfortable with them. And I think that's what it is for me. I mean, I'm getting ready to do a 70 Z28. And it's like the 4th car I've done for the guy.
Yeah. That's something to be said for.
You know? And I just had another guy call me. I didn't even know how to act to this. I was kind of flabbergasted because my wife and I were at Mondo for a happy hour. We got there like 4:30. You know, my wife wanted this wine thing that they got there. So we get there, and I get a text on my thing, and it's, look, I don't have the number, so I don't know who it was, and it's then I go, who is this? And it's hey, this is Frank Z. I'm like, what's going on, man? He goes, hey, you know, I still got my 66 Olds 442 convertible 4-speed dual quad car, real rare car. I looked at that car 17 years ago. I went with my buddy Paul down to Bridgeport to look at 2 cars he wanted me to do. He ended up getting the 2-door Holiday Coupe painted, but he never got. He goes, hi, I still want you to do it.
It's pretty amazing though. You think about. I've had that. I used to tell people if you go and do a car show like for sales, you're not going to get immediate work sometimes, but that person might come to you, you know, like you said, 15, 20 years later after they save up the money. So it's really good to.
Well, I said to him, I go, well, to be honest with you, Frank, my labor rate's gone up, materials have gone up. You were struggling to come up with the money all those years ago. I'm still doing it, but I said, I don't know if you're going to like the price of it now. But then again, that's a very rare car. And it's worth, now all numbers matching. It's a very big dollar car. Got a couple other, I don't remember now, but there was some other oddball options on the car.
I would think for the most part, a person who has multiple cars who's in this business, or not in the business, in the cars, understands the cost of things now. Because you'd have to be living under a rock. I mean, most of the customers that come for the first time, like it's the first time they got the car or whatever, those are the ones that are usually shocked.
Shell shocked, yeah.
But I think they're real good ones. But although we say that, but you and I are shocked every day, and we do it every day.
Yeah. Well, like I told you when I first got here, when I went down to ride by my stuff, and I almost kind of, and I'm not cheap. Because I firmly believe, you know, Eric needs to make a living, and I was like, wow, man, that hurt a little bit. And granted, I mean, I know I'm passing the. It's not the fact that I am passing the cost onto the customer. You know, the customer's paying for it.
You start feeling bad at some point.
You start to feel. I had to have a little bit of empathy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think we're at the point, and I've said this a million times, where your salespeople always tell you just pass it on to your customer, but you're at a point where you can't afford to. They can't afford it. It's just too much. It's just It's ridiculous.
You know, and of course people want. You know, when people see my car, they're always like, "Oh man, you know, can I get that?" Yeah, oh yeah, I can get it. I don't really want to tell you the amount of hours I got into it. And believe me, like I told you, and you know, I could have put more hours in my car. I could put more hours in everybody's car. You can, but you also have to have a jump off point.
That's the hardest part, is knowing that point.
Yeah, and you know, and it's been, and I have this discussion with my buddy Rob all the time. You know, everybody says, well, I don't want it to be a show car. Well, I just want to take it to cruise nights and some car shows. So you do want a show car. But a show car for Detroit Autorama and the Riddler are totally different cars than a guy doing a cruise night. Yeah. I mean, I did win a trophy Sunday with my car, and I'm not a trophy guy at all. Yeah. And I'm like, but I didn't even
He's like, I brought it with me.
Yeah, I didn't even detail the underneath or nothing, but it just looks good, and I drive it. And but most people, believe it or not, most of the people that come in my shop, that's what they're looking for. And that's the customer I cater to. Yeah. That's the one I'm
You've been
looking
consistent
for.
your whole career giving. I mean, that's a nice car you could go to a show with and
respectable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That's the car that I came here. You gave me the hog rings for. You showed me that hog ring tool. Which I tried to go find one. I tried hard to find one because I'm trying to do it by hand with my wrist, And I'm sitting there going, oh man, that tool was freaking amazing. And you're right, they don't make it anymore. You can't find it.
Yeah.
But I did spend days looking. But I did the seats in it and everything. And I knew you were busy, but. I still try to have a sense of pride in doing what I do, and I still like doing it. So
well, it's funny because that's one of those shows I remember years ago. I stuck with me. Joe Martin had said that for the Martin Brothers.
Yep.
And he's like, you think I'm going to go through all this work and then let someone else paint my?
Yeah.
And that mentality is how you and I are. That's why people like say you would get jealous of someone saying painting their car or something like that, and you're like going, no, I get it.
I've held many people in their garage, questions, whatever, and text messages, going by their house, stopping by. Why? Why do you go over there and help them? Well, first of all, I don't have time to work on their car anyway.
Yeah.
I don't have the time. And why make them wait for 3 or 4 years? Let them do what they want. But I think a lot of people, when they start to realize, well, in order really even to do a car at home, by the time you buy the welder, the tools, the vice grips, and by the time you buy all these tools that you need just to do a simple restoration, and then if you're going to rebuild the front end, you got to buy the coil spring compressor, you got to buy, if you don't have a press, you're the old hammer, and then when you're 60 years old and your wrist hurts, your arm hurts from swinging a hammer, trying to get out the control arm bushings and everything. Now you start to have a little respect for it. But then I think a guy doing that car at home finally realizes, holy shit, this takes a lot of hours. And I think they got a little bit more respect.
Yeah, I agree. Some people need to learn that. And it's also, I think, it's just to me, it adds more value. They perceive their value with you a lot higher now.
Oh, yeah.
Because they understand.
Yep.
And what's funny, the thing I always try to get across to people is it's not even just learning it the first time your way and seeing how difficult it is. The first time you do something, you're proud of it, but any professional that's going to look at it, it looks like shit.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part. Is people are so proud because they got it done, but you just spent all that time, all that money, and you have something that's not at the level you wanted. So some people get discouraged at that point too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like making fun of somebody's car that worked it, and I don't like somebody doing it either.
No,
I used to go to some cruise nights and car shows with friends of mine that they would criticize somebody's car that they did at home, and I'm like, something, dude, no, they love that car. Nah, don't do that. That makes me very uncomfortable. I mean, I showed you the spot in my car that I'm getting a reaction. I'm getting a reaction. I've been doing it for years, and I'm sitting there going myself, I don't get it, but it's just the nature of the beast. It is what it is. It's in a spot that's going to suck to fix.
Yeah.
It's not. I couldn't have gotten it lower. I mean,
quarters and shit.
I couldn't have gotten it somewhere else. But it is. And guess what? You think I'm going to go fix that right now? I'm going to let it keep festering for another year or so. I'm just going to let it keep going in case I'm going to see what it does, and then. Obviously, then it's going to be an investigation to see what caused it.
What's funny is like if you didn't pick it out to me. I mean, I'm like you. I'm not going to go over someone's car and critique it.
No.
I'm not like that type of person. I look at it as a beautiful car, but like that spot you show me, nobody's going to see that.
No, and nobody does. But I'm the guy going, what? But I'm more why. I don't understand what I did. My process is the same.
Yeah.
And I did it. I can't blame my shop because I did it in my own 2-car garage. I painted that car in my 2-car garage.
You didn't do it at your shop?
No. I did that because you want to why then everybody's got their nose in it.
Yeah.
I did that car, I got my garage at home is 26 by 30, so I did it all in there, all quiet, all in there, and just kind of under the radar type thing. So I can't put But I worked out of there for 20 years. I mean, I got it all set up with fans and everything. I had to dust off. Woo. I had to make sure everything still worked when I turned on my exhaust fans and everything. But and I painted that car over different periods of time. Again, I'm glad it happened to me and not a customer. But I eventually will have to. Now, if that was a customer's car, obviously I got to fix it.
Yeah.
I got to investigate and see what happened.
Yeah.
And there's Rage Ultra. There's what do you call it? Duraglass fiberglass. So it's not cheap stuff.
It's all expensive shit.
Super build on it.
What the heck? Like Duraglass fiberglass stuff for a gallon. I mean, what's it like? It's almost $200 a gallon.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
I mean, I just buy the quart because I really only put it over my welds and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there going, okay, and then super build.
Yeah.
And then the car sat. Here's the other thing. I had it all in primer by November, and it sat. I didn't paint it until March, April. The back half I painted in April. So it wasn't like it didn't sit there and dry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's funny. I might do the next car without super build. Chris.
I use super build. I don't use slick sand.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree, I do too. But so one thing that Chris said, and I'm it's hard. Like, he's one of our tech reps, and I'm hard pressed not to believe him and say it's true because I do that. If you get your body work so straight,
Oh yeah.
and then you put it, it's almost a waste because it adds so much texture that you have to sand it all off.
Yeah, but I reduce it.
Oh, you do? You cut it? Yeah.
I cut it. Yeah,
So
because
it's
I don't.
coming out more like primer.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I know. And
But with the 201,
some of you guys are probably like, dude, you're cutting down super build. Now you took the mills out of it. I just did what you did.
Yeah.
I just did my body work. My body work is actually like this.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yep.
So I've always said that if your metal work is great, your body work should be really nice.
Yeah.
And then I'm really going to use the slick sand to really fill my pinholes to get it. But where some guys put 2 or 3 gallons on a car,
Yeah.
I use a gallon.
Yeah.
And,
So
but
you
I
put
reduce.
basically 1 or 2 coats on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because if you put 3 coats unreduced, you go through like a gallon for like a roof and a door.
And then you're right. It's like it looks like you sprayed concrete.
Yeah.
And it's hard like concrete.
Yeah.
So what
My sand's really good, but I'm just like, I'm putting on so much millage and cutting it off. I've never had a problem with it. It always comes out really good. One time I had a problem, and that was in the beginning when I first used it, where I put it on 3 heavy coats.
Yes.
Then like 2 days later, tried to sand it and go, and it just shrunk like a son of a gun.
So that's why and again, I know some people are going to say to me, you're not supposed to reduce it and everything. But first of all, anything can be reduced. I mean,
Yeah, but when we started, we also joke around. Everybody's like their own self-chemist. Now everybody's like, they're sheep. You do exactly what you're told. You can't tweak it. You can't change it. You can't do anything.
Yeah, we
The
didn't grow up in that
chemicals are
world.
chemical. Yeah.
Well, we grew up in the world. It was all lacquer primer.
And they used to pick the shavings from the cheese grater back up.
Right.
Put resin
Put
in it.
resin in it. Yeah. But we also grew up with the fact when we were doing it, when we first started doing it, everybody hated 2K. Oh man, now you got to mix it with a hardener, blah blah. So everybody hated 2K.
Yeah.
Everybody hated 2K. So now. And then for years and years, just at least lacquer primer. You just mix it, spray it. 20 minutes later, you could be
put 300
sanding it and
coats
go.
on.
Yeah. So just bury it. Keep putting 15 layers of lacquer primer on, and then it was 2K. Oh, they got to mix it. They got to wait till tomorrow, and then they came up with a fast dry 2K. Well, now you got to wait 4 hours. And I thought to myself, okay, well, whatever. What the hell? It is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just keep moving.
Yeah.
The industry evolves.
Yeah.
You just keep moving with it.
have to.
So I don't know. I probably don't use super build. I'm not using it. I'm not using it for what it's intended for. I guess is the way, because a lot of guys like to slap it on pretty thick, put it on, blah, 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 they glob it all on. But I want to spray it nice because my car is straight. My body work on the car that I'm spraying on is straight.
Yeah, the thing that it helps. The only reason I've been doing it and it helps me with is if you're not using huge linear blocks,
right?
And you're using regular like smaller Durablocks or something like that, and your body works there, you're good. But I do notice that if you have the millage of it, and you have a slow wave, like a very minuscule wave,
you'll see the lines.
Yeah, and it helps you get rid of that. And so that's one of the reasons I keep sticking with it. But the last couple of cars, the bodywork's been so freaking straight that I'm just like, I should just use the.
But I tell you, if you try what I do, I reduce it with acetone.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it says you can reduce it with acetone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guys say no.
It's just polyester.
Some guys get all mad when you say that, but I reduce it with acetone, and dude, I'm telling you, it makes it lay out so nice. And guess how much millage you lose?
Probably not much, because it's probably laying out flatter. You're not sanding it off.
Yeah, you're losing maybe a half a mil.
That's what I didn't want to tell you. Evercoat's like.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're probably gonna. Who is this guy? Shut him up. You know what I mean?
I remember we went to at Vinyl Tech. They had a class. They had John Kosmicki come from House of Colors, and they did all this stuff. And pretty much everything they tell you, he did the opposite.
Yeah.
And he's he was the guy. It's like.
Even like when I mix my clear, when I mix my clear, everybody mixes it in quarts.
Yeah.
I mix my clear in pints. Everybody's, well, yeah, but you got to mix. I don't know, but I can keep things a little tighter because I like to put a certain amount of reducer in my clear. I don't want too much.
Yeah.
I don't want too little, because if I'm mixing a quart cup and I'm going for the full quart, well, I'm out of the mixing lines. So I gotta always eyeball my reducer.
Yeah.
But when I mix my pints, it's right. It's a smaller cup. I can just, okay, that's exactly what I want. And I find that I can lay my clear out a little flatter. So I don't like the bigger cup. But when I'm mixing base,
Yeah.
because I'm just doing 1-to-1, so I don't care because I'm going to, whatever I don't use, I throw back in the can anyway.
When you do the super build, you do your 4-to-1 in like you measure with the
Cup. Yeah.
Yeah,
super build I'll do in a
do you
quart.
end up with a lot of the glass catalyst left over?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's not just
Yeah.
me. I thought I was
No.
going crazy.
No.
I'm like, it's 4-to-1. This is a gallon. This is a quart, right? It's supposed to be a quart, or is it bigger than a quart?
No, it's bigger than a quart.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, I think it's 16
Oh,
ounces.
okay.
That's
I'm
right.
like, why do we always
Yeah.
have it?
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah. Well, so then what's funny is, which this is.
But don't ever make me. I had a guy one time that was helping me, and I'm just gonna mix the whole gallon for you. Threw it in on a hot summer day.
Yeah.
45 minutes later, you throw it all away.
I don't be totally like that bad Chad show.
Yeah.
He mixed up 2 gallons and poured all the catalyst in both. By the time he even got to the car, it was hardening.
It was already hardened.
Yeah, and then that was just.
But even super build or slick sand or somebody all of them, on a hot day when you're spraying it, it's clobbing up at the end of your gun anyway. So even on a hot day, like when it was really hot and humid, you would struggle to spray it unreduced. Spray it without the tip of your gun, or every time you get done shooting the cup, you got to clean your gun again. Clean it with lacquer thinner. I was just watching one of the YouTubers that I watch. That's what she was saying. On those hot days, we were constantly cleaning the gun. And I was like, I wanted to say, well, if you just reduced it a little bit. And again, I understand you don't want to lose your mils.
Yeah.
But you're not going to lose enough mils to really worry about it, and it's going to lay out flatter, which is, to me, I want less sanding.
Yeah.
I mean, with all my
that's
surgeries.
what Chris keeps saying is that the flatter it is, you sand less, and it's true because we're taking off. You're cutting texture, like massive texture.
Yeah, you got to cut. I mean, it goes on so pebbly. So by the time, some guys, well, I start with 80 grit. Well, why?
Yeah. Well, it is. It's kind of redundant because you go, you're supposed to go to 180 and then put it on, and then normally you would sand to I usually sand my Bondo or body filler till 220 or 320 before I prime it.
Right.
When we were doing just the Glazera system and I was using their high build, it would be 220 or 320 minimum.
Right.
I put that on, and then the primer looked like paint.
Right.
And then you're sanding that with 4/6.
Yeah, right. Trying to get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
Where I'm body work on my Bondo or filler, I'll usually between 120 150.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go because I'm going to do the super build. But I reduce it, but I'm going to put on my 2 coats, usually sometimes 2, sometimes 3, because again, I'm not putting it on this thick. And I reduce it, so I'm spraying, I'm kind of moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not, but again, I'm
how
already
big is your
straight.
tip in your gun when you're doing it?
Huh?
How did you like a 1.6, 1.8, 2.0?
2.0.
So that's a big
I got a
tip.
2.0 and a 2.5. I have both.
2.5 is a monster.
Monster.
Yeah.
Yep. So
And you can
I
put
have
gel
both.
coat on
Yeah, you can put gel coat on with that. Yeah. So I'm sitting there. So that's the way it's just the way I'm doing it. Just the way I like it. I try to reduce, in my mind, I'm always trying to reduce the amount of sanding because of the surgeries that I've had. I need to stop doing this for 13 fucking hours.
Dude, I just went back to the I'm using the airboard and getting it really close and then going back to hand sanding.
I bought an electric longboard.
Oh, how's that work?
I like it. I mean, to get me roughed,
Yeah.
it's faster than the air because it's constant.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
It's constant. It's constant. It's variable speed.
Yeah.
And you hook it up to a vacuum. I didn't buy the most expensive one. I bought the cheaper one to see if I liked it. It's only an 8-inch board.
Okay, smaller.
But I like the bigger one. It's a grand, and
Yeah.
I think it's an 11-inch board. And again, I like it just to I bought it for that Volkswagen bus that I did.
Yep.
Because that was a lot of bus. The problem is the metal on a Volkswagen was cheap from the 70s.
Yeah.
It was every time you touched it, it was oil cannon on me. So I tried with the linear block, but whoa, I was like, this is going to take me forever.
Yeah, 'cause you got to almost hold it off.
Now you end up putting too much Bondo on to stiffen it. I'm like, I don't want, and she doesn't want this. She drives it, right? So I'm like, let me buy that thing. So I bought it. It's $179. I bought a cheap one. Let me see if it gets me to what I want. I did my body work, a little bit of body work that I do, but then I put on my 3 coats of super build, and then I just used it to rough me out. And then from there, I was just blocking. I actually, for the Durablock, I like the little one that's 12 inches, that's 1 inch wide, the square one, because it's, again, because of the van and the oil canning of the metal, I really couldn't push that hard.
Yeah.
And that thing came up Nice. But that thing got me to where I was. So then I brought it home to work on my car. I did my body work, like I was telling you, on those door jams, that electric one, because it's so constant right away. When you put your body filter on, you put some 80 grit on it, and of course it's a vacuum, so your dust is going into your. And I'm just sanding along. I'm like, wow, man, it gets you right out. Then boom, I grab my linear block. I finish. Then I go to 120. Then I guide coat, and then I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. And then if I do want to go finer, I'll go 150, 180. Sometimes I'll go to 180 because I know I'm going to put on, if I know I only want to do 2 coats of super build and lay it out really nice, then I'll go to 180 so I don't have to worry about any shrinkage. But even at 150, I'm usually pretty good. Super build is pretty rocky.
Yeah, it is good.
It
It's good
rocks up
stuff.
pretty good.
I love it's really good stuff. It's just funny because I'm just like, I don't know if it's just getting older or it's just like the last, you go and you're standing 3 muscle cars at a time.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Oh yeah, when I was just in your shop, man, dude, I mean, you're me. You're just me.
Yeah.
You're me. You're me over there all by yourself, huffing and puffing and blocking and crying and doing everything else and going,
Dude,
oh, man.
it was so humid last week that the body filler dust is just like caked on it felt like cement.
Then it makes you feel
chalky.
Yep. So as far as that part, I mean, I just do it the way I want to do it. It's just more comfortable for me, and I've had said things to people, and they're right away I get accused for, knocking it down for the thickness and the mill thickness, and that's not what I want to use it for. Then I'm like, well, then you're really using it for, in my opinion, you're using it for sprayable Bondo, and I don't think it's really made for that.
I thought that's what it was. People used to call it that.
Yeah.
What was the other one? So you have
Featherfill.
Featherfill, yeah. And Featherfill, everybody doesn't like. Because Featherfill is the one that
It
was
doesn't
used on the Corvettes and would shrink.
Yeah, it was shrinking. Didn't sand very good either.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's right. People just, I was never a big Featherfill because I always, my whole life was like, you get the body work as close as possible and not need that stuff. And I knew the shops that did like a lot of glass work, like Corvettes, would use it.
Well, you and I came from this. First of all, before that stuff was ever invented.
Yeah.
You had the lacquer primer, but then you had the 2K. Of course, 2K was thicker.
There was Featherfill back in the 70s, right?
Yeah, it was, but people weren't really using it back then. So, but the whole, I mean, when I was taught, it was like, do your body work really right. Because really, the first shop I worked at was the guy who was just diehard lacquer primer.
Yeah.
So your body work already had to be, you had to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, lacquer primer was, it was a joke.
Yeah.
So you had to sit there and go, okay, you had to do your body work well because what lacquer primer wasn't going to do nothing. It looked like it was going to hide when you first put it on, but when you came in tomorrow, you're like, ooh.
I wonder if we had to do a car right now using the green and red nitro stain or the green spot buddy.
What would happen?
Yeah.
I don't think they would like the new paints.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because the reducers and
because
don't forget when you did you were at lacquer primer, lacquer paint.
Yeah.
You were
the whole system. Yeah.
The nitro stain was all lacquer based.
Then they came up with the synthetic enamels and the Emrons and that type of stuff.
Remember, they didn't like each other. Emron didn't like anything.
No.
Even though it was rock hard, it didn't like anything.
Yeah.
It would get mushy underneath something.
Yeah.
So suppose a cheap single stage paint today, even today, won't take a base. You couldn't just go out if this was single stage and sanded it, and you sanded it too much, and you came over it with base, taking it, it'd lift.
Yeah.
It'd lift. Some spots may not because there's enough clear that stayed in with it, but this spot where there's mostly paint, you'd crinkle.
It's funny because not to knock the Axo Nobel line, we got into a point through.
They just bought Axalta.
Yeah, everybody's buying everybody. But we were using PPG and then Glazerith, and I never had lifting ever. We went back to the Axo Nobel, and we ran into some issues. But we also were learning the new stuff. So it's like, that's not the paint's problem. It's rushing it. You're putting primer on 2 hours. You're sanding it, putting your base coat on, and then sometimes you'd end up having, what do they call it now? We call them assholes, but they call them something else now. Where you have like a ring,
the ring
mapping,
so
it'd map around the outline of it. So we started having stuff like that, but that was always when we're trying to rush something,
right?
And then we got so used to doing the used cars, we would never catalyze the base coat. Remember like the PPG used to have the DPC or whatever.
DPC or something like that.
Yeah, DBU.
On the global line.
Yeah, one had one was reactive, one was not. So it was like basically you could put the catalyst in it and react it. But we got so used to not doing it. I did a couple jobs where we didn't, and then we had a lifting. But then Chris reminded me, idiot, put catalyst in it.
Right.
And so then it was fine again. And then up until that motorcycle, which was just ruined me.
Yeah.
That last month it was just like I was
really?
devastated.
Oh, the one that you did the video on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was horrible. That was like, when you don't have those problems, you forget how shitty it is when that happens, and you're just chasing your tail, and then you're like, you remember the best thing to do is just strip everything out and start over.
Well, like I told you in the first video, I mean, what makes a good painter is what really makes a good painter is how he gets himself out of a problem.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in the middle of painting, getting some lifting, crinkling, or whatever, you know. I mean, knock on wood, nowadays, I think I've got it down pretty good. And I'm a sealer. I do sealer.
Yep.
So I lock everything down with a sealer. Like that car, I did a black sealer.
Yep.
Because I thought it was going to affect the red better.
It's deep. It's nice. It's pretty.
I wanted that. And then, but like on the green Z that I showed you,
Yep.
I did white.
Yeah.
I wanted the green to be
to pop. Yeah.
I wanted the
right.
green to pop some more.
Yep.
I don't. You really use
Did
gray.
it take forever for that green to cover over the white?
3 coats.
Really?
And I'm watching the video. Believe me, I've shot rally green many times,
Yep.
and unhugger orange and reds,
Yep.
and even my car was 3 coats.
Yep.
3 coats because I did it over black. Now, if I did it over a gray, it'd have been 7 coats of paint.
Now the base coat that you used, because that was the Eric's base coat.
Yep.
Does it come out flat, or does it have like a little bit of shine to it? Does it have that paraffin wax stuff in it?
Yeah. It's
So,
got
so the base coat has a little bit of a gloss to it.
little gloss to it. Yep.
That's
yep.
hard. That was the hardest part for me to get used to. 'Cause coming from PPG, DBU, and then the Glazerth and Diamond base coats, I love them because they're just flat.
Yeah.
You know, so you know they're dry as done.
Yep.
When you have that little bit of shine to them, it's hard to get used to it because you
Yep.
always feel like you're burying something that's not fully wet or dry
Right.
yet.
Exactly. Yep. Like even like on the green car that I did, he did not want me to paint the underneath of the trunk. Because it was all original paint and it was actually really nice and they had all the original still stickers. So
nice.
please don't paint
Yeah,
underneath.
yeah.
Okay. And he didn't want me to paint the inner gutter. No, not
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Now it still had the original trunk seal.
Oh wow.
The original
So it was a
one.
clean car when you got it.
Yeah, it's only got 40,000 miles on it with the factory mark and then how it attaches. He wanted all that left there. And it's got a couple little chunks missed out. So I had to take wax and put wax on it all because I had to tape it. I don't want had to tape pull it all back off. So I put marine wax all over it, and the tape stuck.
Your tape did stick to it?
It stuck. I just needed it to stick so I could put paper
Yep.
and close the trunk lid. I had to paint the jam area, so I painted the jam, closed the trunk lid, and then I came back and did all my other basing. But then when I got ready to shoot clear, when I opened the trunk lid, some of the shit that was in it came out the weep holes, and it got onto my base. But the problem is, I opened it before my base was dry. So I sat there and go, oh boy, now what do I do? Because it was in there pretty good. So now I had to wait. I waited like half an hour. Actually, you know what I did? I said, screw it. I'm going to go back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I got those 400 pieces from Eric and stuff with the pad. I came in, I wet sanded it all. I reblended that part. Came out beautiful.
Nice.
Because now I had to lay out the stripes.
Yep.
I had to reclose everything.
And you cleared over the stripes, obviously, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yep.
that's nice.
But he wanted me to, like the factory. So he didn't want me to tape down too far. He wanted that paint overspray to kind of.
Do you go by the original measurements and the machinist measurements, stuff like that? It's weird how that.
The problem with the rear stripes on a Z28 is they're 2 different sizes, and I don't. Yeah. I did it on the silver one that was that I did. He gave me the GM stencils.
Yeah.
And it's an inch difference on the back.
It's totally different. Yeah, it's weird.
So I'm like, and you don't see it, but I didn't like it. So this car, somebody already painted it once. So what I did is when I sanded the car and stripped it and I left little spots where I could line up I could still see the old lines. So I was able to, but of course I took pictures.
Yeah.
Because it has a vinyl top on it.
Yeah.
How far from the rivet for the top of it. So I took those pictures and I did it back. They were both 15 inches wide. I did it right back to the way, because he's had the car since like 1974. He's used to seeing it that way. I put it right back to the way his eye always saw it.
Yeah.
The front was easy because it's a flat hood car.
Yeah.
So it's just a wiper collar. It's just that wide.
Nice. Yeah.
And then I just.
Yeah, that's going to be another pretty one.
I think it's going to be. With the white vinyl top, the white interior.
Yeah, it'll be clean, bright.
It'll be bright.
Yeah. Are you still using Roundup? Are they still in business?
They're in business, but they're in Florida.
Yeah, I know they moved. I haven't. Yeah, I don't know if it's just because they were local before, but like I don't hear anything about them anymore.
Yeah, no, they're in Florida. They're doing well. They're doing well. No, I still get a lot of stuff there. I still get whatever in a big project. But you know something? I try to have the customers order stuff now.
Yeah.
No, come here. We'll sit down. You order it.
I never thought I'd be in a position to do that where I'm just like, you don't want to be caught in the middle every time because half the time you order stuff, it's either wrong or it takes long or then you look like the bad guy.
I just heard a very big story about a shop that was given money to order a frame. A year later, the frame still wasn't there. The guy demanded his money back because he called the frame company
Yep.
Come to find out, they were owed money for other frames, so that frame was never ordered, and because they owe money for 2 other frames.
Oh, so it was the shop's fault, not the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we had that happen. Actually, we had that happen a lot, but there was one when we were doing the T-buckets. There was a weird thing with when we had hired that guy from
Total Performance.
Yeah, it used to be from Total Performance and stuff like that. And we got a deposit from the customer to buy a body, and the bodies weren't coming. So then I took over and called the guy up, and he goes, I've had, I want to say 60 calls that the guy sold 60 bodies, and he goes, the only deposit we got was from your shop, but he was working for you. So he goes, the body's going to you. And I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
But then it turned out he had sold 60 car bodies and never even called the place to order them.
No money.
Yeah.
That's why I don't. To me, it's easier for the customer to be involved in that. First of all, number one, I want to have the customer be involved.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to have some skin in it. I think it makes it more interesting for them. I think they can see what you go through when you order stuff, and that way too, the part doesn't come in. They know you're not okay. Well, all right. Well, let me know when it comes in because you gave me enough parts where I can keep busy, but let you know. So now you know that if I called you and said, "Hey, this didn't come in," you'd be like, "Yeah, right." You know.
Yeah.
So that way you deal with it.
Yeah.
It's easier. You're invested into it, and then when it comes in, hey, I got the part, so you're all excited about it. We can keep moving forward,
Yeah.
So I've kind of gotten out of. I kind of even. That's another thing I did change. I kind of let them. You take care of that kind of stuff now. I think it's easier.
Yeah.
I don't get too much involved in the custom chassis or none of that stuff anymore. And I know you wanted to discuss maybe a little bit like those aftermarket bodies.
Oh, yeah, we do.
I've been involved in one. I didn't think the quality. I thought. Here was my honest opinion, and it happened. A guy ordered one that I knew, and it came in. The shipping ended up being like $2,000. Took like 6-7 months to come in,
Yeah.
and when he got it, it was a '68 Camaro. When he got it, it wasn't that great. The VIN thing was going to be his problem. Trim tag is not a problem.
That was an actual Dynacord?
That was the actual Dynacord. Yep. And this was I'm going back. I don't know, 7-8 years ago maybe.
Before. But what Jay's reference is, we had one of our viewers come in and said he asked about titling the Dynacore bodies and if we have any experience on it. And Jay luckily brought it up because I'd already forgotten.
Yeah,
and
sorry. I got ahead of myself.
We kind of went right back into it. So he's discussing his experiences with the Dynacore bodies, which if you don't know what a Dynacore body is, they actually make panels. They started making just panels for the muscle cars and different cars.
They made the bigger restorations, the full trunk pans, full floors. That's
and
how
now
it
they make
started.
full bodies. You could buy like a '67 Camaro Mustang or whatever.
Yep.
And so, I'm sorry, I didn't really interrupt.
No,
you.
so then basically, after everything was all said and done, when it got here, it needed a whole bunch of work. It really needed to be all gapped. They didn't really put the quarters on where it met the trunk pan very well, which aftermarket quarters don't fit that anyway. You usually got to add to the trunk pan or cut the quarter pan, and whatever the customer wants to do. And so when it got there, I thought to myself, well, shit, there's a lot of work here. I wasn't doing it. He was doing it he thought, I'm going to save a ton of money. I'm going to buy the car. He was going to do all his VIN number stuff. I don't know what was going to happen with all that. Trim tag's not a big deal, dealing with the VIN. I know some states you can cut like 2 inches around it and weld it in. And I don't know.
Using a donor vehicle. So that was his question. So one of the things was because they're building these from scratch and they're talking about titling them. So the titling is such a big issue with me that one of the reasons I got out of building cars from scratch, it's too much. I'd rather just take a car now and customize it,
right?
And do it and have a legal license thing. The hard part a lot was like the Mustangs, because you get those big companies that were building hundreds of them at a clip, and there's more Mustangs being built than you could find.
Right.
So they were trying to title them as new vehicles. And to answer that question, I was trying to get Jay from Vintage Motorsports on here because he's an expert in that. He titles cars.
With the Cobras. And all
yeah,
that.
But it's a big ordeal because, first when you get the vehicles, they have to have some sort of MSO,
right.
So you have some sort of number.
Right.
But you have to actually open up. He has like a company in another state, and then another company in another state, because there's a lot involved in. You have to have one titles it, one registers. There's a lot of stuff involved in. Unless you're selling a high volume of cars, to me, doing one-off isn't. And then there used to be
wasn't that happening in the motorcycle world too?
Yeah, and they shut it right down.
Yeah.
So what had happened right before COVID, I don't know if it was SEMA or whatever it is. they came out with a freedom or a free something act. I forgot what it is, but basically you could start manufacturing vehicles under 200 a year, like low vehicle manufacturing, whatever it's called, and it was right there. And you didn't have to go by. You didn't have to have the airbags. You didn't have to all the safety. It was for small vehicle manufacturers.
Specific.
Yeah, and it was very close to going through. And then I think COVID happened, and that was kind of a squash. But that would have changed it because that would have helped give you some way to title a vehicle.
Okay.
Where it's not. And we used to have these guys down south, and they were magic. You give them $200 to $400,
right?
And they give you a title, a VIN number, and everything's done.
Yep.
And everything was legit. But last time I talked to one of the guys, I think he was like 700 or 800 years old, and now he's just gone.
Right.
And
I remember when I was a teenager, I was 17. A buddy of mine built a dune buggy.
Yep.
And back then, you just do regular safety inspection.
Yep.
But he thought, okay, well, I'm going to go through because it was on the VW body. But of course, he didn't really do things correctly, so now they wanted him to put him through as a composite vehicle,
Yes.
which now you had to go to Weathersfield
Yes.
for that, and then you had to meet all the safety requirements. And honest to God, 6 trips later, back then too, you can keep getting a template. Now they only give you 1 or
Yep.
2. And he kept getting template, bring it back, okay, and then I mean, I don't know how many times to finally get a VIN number where you get that little aluminum foil type thing that goes on there. And then it took him a year to get it through. Then 2 weeks later, he sold the car.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that was a lot of work for nothing.
It is, yeah.
So, I can't imagine having to go through all that with a 67, 89 Camaro or a 70 Mustang, trying to bring it through that composite
So
safety
if you
inspection.
bring it through composite, that means you need airbags, you need the proper bumpers.
Don't you have to meet today's requirements?
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's why we stopped with the T-bucket in the Model A's and stuff, because you'd have to put tires front and back that were they had to be like 80% close. So if you couldn't have an 18-inch wide rear and a 2-inch wide front. So you'd have to have the car with like big tires in the front and smaller tires in the back. You had to have bumpers on it. You had to have airbags. There's a lot of stuff that you had to have. And then with the motorcycles, we used to run them through with tie straps on the lights.
Right.
And because they're coming off afterwards. But
Right.
then now they had to be hard mounted. Basically everything changed. Like the T-bucket stuff changed when that guy got killed. 2 people got killed. And one person, I think, sued Total Performance. You'd have to talk to Brian or Jim to see they would remember better what it was. But it ended up, it was a big deal because like Mickey somehow was getting all the T-buckets titled through the DMV in Connecticut. It turns out it wasn't legal or legit, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was something weird. And then I think at that point is when it got really hard. But he is closing down, just sold the company anyways to Speedway. So that changed a lot of things. And then after that, everything was just such a problem that I just didn't want to hear about it.
A buddy of mine did build a T-bucket with a 6-cylinder in it, and he finally got a hold of a 1929 VIN number and title and paperwork and did it that way. But I tell you what, he took me for a ride in it one time. I feel like I'm in a go-kart.
Yeah,
I was like, nah, he would. Of course, the 6-cylinder was all warmed up, had a cam in it. I mean, so on a 1,800-pound body, that thing was flying. And I'm like, man, one fall out of this thing, you're dead. It's not. They weren't my cup of tea. Yeah. But
they're fun, crazy. Like we had the Tangerine Tea, which was one of the famous ones that Mickey did. When you would drive that with the skinny front tires, it would like he must have had a big torque converter in it because it would wind up before it would shift. But if you're going around a corner, that thing would want to pull. Like when it was in the shop, my shop in East Haddam. If you turn the wheels all the way to the left, with a smooth shop floor, you turn it all the way to the left and it just goes straight.
Yeah.
It would just it wouldn't even do it.
Yeah.
So there are schedules. But there was one guy, he got in a wreck in that T-bucket. He was flying. It's a typical T-bucket accident is you forget how wide the back is.
Right.
Something hit one of the back tires, spun that car around. Body came right off, went sliding. It was horrible. Even the Hemi one that we had, that was you think about it, what's funny is you have a 5-point harness bolted to T-nuts in a wooden floor.
I know.
So it was stupid.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So I think that kind of stuff it has its niche. There's people out there that like it. It's not my thing. I'm like you. I want my old steel car. I want my VIN number. I want all that stuff. And I'm not a numbers matching Z28 SS or 396 big. I'm not that guy. I'm a custom.
Build a nice car that you would enjoy.
Just build a car that I like. Maybe
the
not.
The purist community is tough. It wears you down.
It does.
Yeah, there's too much because there's just like every nut and bolt, and I don't know. I'm the opposite. I would rather have a Camaro with air ride, a crazy motor slammed to the ground.
Yep.
You know, it's like polar opposite of what you
I mean,
want.
I got tubular control arms, QA ones, coil shocks on that and everything. I got to do all the final adjustments with it, but I just got it back on the road, and I built the car because I bought the Craigers from a friend of mine. I'm like, well, the car looks really good, I'm not going to paint it, So that's how that car started. But again, I didn't go over the top because I drive it. I'm going to drive it tonight. I'm going to drive it tomorrow night.
The car has a nice. Wait till the people watching on YouTube are going to be able to see the pictures of it. But if you're on listen to a podcast, you have to go on the website and check it out because it's clean. The stance is nice. I like the gap between the wheel wells. It's just a clean car.
Yeah, it's just not over the top, and that's what I like to build. And I think it's reasonably affordable. I think most people can build that car, and my Nova will be along the same lines. Be the same thing. I still like carburetors. I mean, I've done LSs. I've done a few of them, and I like all that stuff.
To do all the work you did on that car and have it come out like that, someone's going to spend $100,000.
In my shop, they won't, but yes. Normally yes, yeah. I mean, yeah. With all the parts, if you bought a brand new motor, you bought you got the car $20,000, you got the parts $20,000 minimum. Right. Paint, body. Yeah. If you bought a car, I mean, like say you bought that car, like when that car, somebody bought me that car and the floors were mint. On that car, the trunk pan was mint, frame rails.
That was nice,
The doors were original. They're mint. Front fenders were the original ones. Somebody had put some patches in them, and they held up beautifully because they were welded in. Somebody welded in, nice, They put a little undercoat. They're all held up great. Just the quarter panels. Somebody put skins on it, which 30, 40 years ago when the car was done, that's all you could have bought. Or you could have bought. Somebody didn't have the money for NOS.
Yeah.
You could have maybe gone and got them, but they were welded on. They weren't even brazed. So somebody had actually welded them on. So I left them on. I just had to fix some of the spots that were bad. And the quarter panel extensions were good. So if you brought somebody a good car, now I don't have to spend $500 for the floor, $600-700 for the trunk pan, frame rails. So I don't got to build the car. Like I got a 69 at my shop now, full floor, trunk, frame rails, quarter panel extensions.
I mean, a full floor alone's got to be close to $10,000.
Yeah, by the time, just in metalwork, you're already at $25,000-30,000.
Yeah.
We haven't even started body and paint yet. So yeah, you can get to $60,000-70,000, and I'll finally hand you out a rolling car painted. But now you still got to decide what you want to buy for a motor, training, which way you want to go with the rest of it. You know
Which
what I mean?
Which is still excellent price. You think about like you buy a Toyota Camry for $40,000.
Yeah.
And that's just a Toyota Camry. Now this is your dream car. It's a rare car. You're taking something old, redoing it, taking it apart, fixing everything, and making it new. So I see why the values where they're at. It's funny. I saw the guy driving a Bronco this morning, and I'm like, I'm just like, I can't believe it's $400,000 for a Bronco.
Oh yeah.
It's like crazy.
Yeah, but now of course you take my car and then you do the Roaster Shop chassis. Oh, yeah, you do the LS3, the LS4. You start getting the Tremec 5-speed. Well, right there you're at $100,000 just in parts.
Yeah.
And let alone what you ever buy for a car. Yep. And if you bought, say you spent 30 and you and I have seen it, I know many guys that have spent 30, 40, 50 grand on a car. They want to do some work to it. You start to dig into it. The car's a piece of shit.
It's so funny because the thing for cars, so they go out, they buy all the major parts, the motor, the tranny, the rear end. They get all that stuff. They have the car shell and that stuff. And then they get to a point where now they got to do the real stuff, and they realize, oh wait, a wire harness is $1,500. You start adding all this stuff, the stuff that goes to put it together. All the electronics, all the plumbing, the motors, the alternator, all that type of stuff starts to add up. Then they're like, they have this project. They're like, I'm into it for $70,000. I'm going to sell this.
And they haven't called you yet for an interior.
Yeah.
So there's another 12 to 25 grand.
Yeah, but then they'll sit there and they'll try to sell the things they know they're overhead. They'll want $70,000. They'll hang on to it for 3 years before they drop to the price, and someone else buys it for a little bit cheaper, and then they spend the next money dialing up those things and dial it in and getting it done. Right.
It's not a cheap hobby. It's expensive, but it can be rewarding. I got a neighbor right now that's got a Corvair, and she's trying to figure out what to do. She had the car for 15 years, and it was leaking. I actually had it stored in my garage at home, and she took it out, and then she wanted to. It was leaking in the windshield. When she tore it out, down the floors were all rotted, and she's like, "Now what do I do?" I go, you either sell it, because she bought the thing 13, 14 years ago. It's been back and forth to California a couple of times. I mean, it's actually a good looking. It's a 2-door Corvair.
Yeah, they're cool little cars.
It's a good little car, and it still runs good. It drives good. But now you're at that crossroad. I'm going to put a lot of money in it to fix it, or do I just sell it and maybe buy one that's already done for nice money? For I think you could buy one pretty nice for 15 to 20 grand.
Yeah.
So she's at that crossroads. She goes, how much money would it be to put a floor in? I go, well,
More than the car's worth.
so I said to her, I said, I don't know what should I do? I don't know. You do what you want. I don't know. You have the 15 years that you owned it with the memories. If they have value to you, then do the car. If they don't, then sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it.
That's usually what it is. The people who have like history with the cars, like the first car they learned to drive on, their grandfather's car, those are the ones where it doesn't matter about the money. You just invest whatever it is to keep that. You know, it's the ones that they might like that car.
Right.
There's, you know, then you got to really, because you know what's going to happen is they're going to get into it over their head, and then you're going to feel like the bad guy.
Well, that's what I said. I said, I don't know much about Corvairs and what to do with it. I mean, can I put a floor in it? Yeah, I mean, I can put a floor in anything, but I said, I don't want to make decisions for you that are, it's not my life. This is not me. This is not my love.
Yeah.
This is not my car. You know, I mean, you have a baby now, and I don't know, is this something you wanted to leave off to him? But on the other side of the coin, you don't have a garage to keep it in.
Yeah.
So you're going to stay out in the weather.
You're right back to the same mess.
Yeah, so yeah, we could do all this work, or you could have the work done by somebody else and not me, and then find out that, well, now you got nowhere to put it.
There's nobody to do that right now. You know, there's only a few of us left that will tear floors out, put floors in. Out of all the restoration shops now, very few of them have metal shops that are able to do that. You know, it's hard. I was thinking that the other day, tearing a floor out of a car, you come out and you're black. You're covered in shit. It's a long day, you know, and then like guys like us are proud and happy we got it out. You know, and there's not a lot of people that are like that anymore. They don't want that dirt and that grinding and the cutting and stuff. And it's a very rare thing. So I think these people that want to have these cars fixed, I mean, where do you really go when you think about it? Like half the metal shops, you want you to be their metal guy because they don't have a metal guy.
I know. I know. I know.
It's scary. It's very
I know.
scary.
And again, like I told you at the beginning of the video, it was a blessing when I, you know, I'm not a religious guy or nothing, but when that happened to me, and I made a couple of phone calls because even after talking to my landlord, I wasn't assured about what was happening. So when I made those phone calls, again, within 3 to 4 days, I couldn't believe what I was getting back from the community, you know, for a job or for a place to go, either one, like I said earlier. But I also found out that there's really not many of me left.
No, there's not.
I found out real quick from, you know, the Mark, who you had on, and from a couple other shops, and friends of mine calling me for some other places to, hey, you know, call this guy, because I'm finding out wow, I'm a little bit more sought after than I thought. But still, for me, I just didn't want to lose what I had.
Now, you know what's hard is, so you got, with the rarity with the bot, so there's like what we do, like I do the same thing you do, where we just tear it out and make it.
Right.
And you're not a coach builder, but you like doing metal work.
Yeah, right.
So that's very rare to be able to get to do the dirty work and get that hard work done.
Right.
And then you have the coach builder side, and then on that side, you have like the guy, what Paul, whatever his name is, and his son. There's
Marcel.
Like, there's very few people that do that because it's a lot of work.
In the United States.
Yeah, and in Connecticut, there's probably 2 guys I know that are able to do really good
You go
work.
where my buddy is at, he works for Academy Auto. I don't know the name of the restoration shop. They got everything in there. They got a father and son deal that they're pretty talented like that. They could do all that. But he's got it. But of course, the pull mat.
And then you need the clientele, though.
Yeah, he does.
Because that's huge money.
He chases it. He goes all over the country.
Yeah.
He does the Hershey. He does all the concours things. You know, he chases it. But then again, he's got the people that can do it. That work, that specialty, making that fender, making the door skin. You know, welding and making the die to put in the whole max, like when you see on Kindig. Oh, we don't have that die. Well, let's make it. So they get some 3/4 inch stock, and they got the machine and laser cut it.
They tool maker.
They got the tool maker that can come in, boom, here we go. You need this for your belt molding, and they got it. They have it all.
It's just rare.
And it's rare. There's those guys will always be busy because there's always those millionaires that can afford the car and those shops that can do it. But it takes a long time to get. I mean, let's face it, Dave Kindig's been at it for a long time. Now, not to give him a plug, but he's got a hell of a shop. He's got a hell of a reputation. And him and some of the other high-end, they all got it.
Yeah.
But they also, here's the other thing. your Fooses and all them, they're all our age. They're all getting into their upper 50s, early 60s, and they're cresting and they're looking behind them, going, "Who's behind me? Who's?" There's still a need.
Yeah.
There's still a need.
Well, it's funny
And
because
who's behind me?
the Fuller there, because
Brian.
when I went, he just did a post. I haven't really been, even though we're doing our social media so much, I'm not watching stuff and other people. One of his videos popped up, and I'm like, holy cow, he's like aged.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I age a lot too,
Yeah.
but I remember
me too, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
being the TV show guy, and and another one, they do wicked work that comes out of there too.
Another thing, it's funny. A lot of people don't realize their shops, they're not that big.
Yeah.
And they don't have that many people.
Yeah.
Dave can dig different. He's
He's
got
reached a
an
pinnacle
MSO
that's-
now.
yeah.
He's got manufacturing.
He has to go home and shake at night with anxiety because that shop, I couldn't even imagine that responsibility.
I honestly, I give the guy credit.
Yeah.
If you can have, he did that thing with that Dave's Auto where he was, I think, 38 employees, and he was going to take over more building because he was going to became a manufacturer now with those Corvettes.
Yeah.
And he was going.
Which
He said he needs another 10 to 12 people. You started getting up to. I always used it when I was at Toyota. He was over 100 people at one point. I thought to myself, wow, that's a big nut every week to crack. And then every year to crack. And now the other thing is their other thing is the responsibility. These people all have homes, and they have car payments and everything that kind of you're responsible for. You know what I mean? So to me, that was a lot of pressure. At which he's at that point. But then again, you
look at him and he doesn't look too stressed out. But then you look at the guy from the Fat Finner Garage, and you could tell he looks like he has a lot of pressure on him. Because he has a lot of responsibility. And I would be out of my mind with that.
I watched this other guy. Open Country or something. He's got his own shop that he built on his house, like out in Montana or something, or Dakota. He's got a hell of a setup, but also he's got a hell of a setup because he charges the customer accordingly, which probably I don't. That's probably half my problem. But he works by himself, but only in his 30s still.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he still has the drive, still go do it and everything. But again. But on the other side of the coin, he shows that I'm a one man. Him and his wife, they're out there doing it themselves, doing full frame off, block and tackle, pulling the frames off. He just did a Bronco. I thought to myself, whew, boy, that looks like me. That's still me doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's still me.
You ever watch the JF Customs there, Killer Customs?
Killers, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because him and his wife go and do stuff, and they look like good people doing good stuff. But I wish they would film the actual business.
Yeah.
Because they build sick Riddler cars.
He just did another, he just went, I think, America's BMR.
Yeah. I would, because I know you can't release anything while you're...
No, you can't do it, not a Riddler.
But if they were filming it during and then released it afterwards, because there's blood, sweat, and tears.
Because he's got one Riddler winner, and then he's got one or two gray 8s.
Oh, is it? I thought he had a bunch of...
He only had one Riddler winner, but he's got a couple of...
And that was the...
America's Most Beautiful Roadster. I think he's got 2 or 3 of those. Then he's got some Canadian awards that we don't, So he's got some, but still, the ones that he's got, I think he's got a GM design award from SEMA, I think, or a Ford, or maybe 1-on-1. So to have those kind of accolades is
that's serious, yeah.
He doesn't have a huge shop. It's big, but it's not massive.
It looked pretty big.
It's not. I don't think it's massive, but it's probably 7, 8 guys.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't really see a lot of the business side of it.
You saw a little bit when the Russ Brothers show was on.
Oh, okay, I didn't watch that.
You saw some of it there, but
So they actually went to
Oh yeah, they were friends. Oh yeah, yep. But again, 2 different sets. Russ Brothers was me.
Yeah.
JF, JF.
I wonder why it's Jay. You think it's because he must be a French name like John?
Yeah, something Fier.
Oh, okay. Yes, so he just goes like JF.
They just call him JF. He's got a nice house. They filmed him at his house and stuff.
I've seen him, the cars they do, and it looks like him and his wife are having fun. Although, you know what's funny? I laugh because I'm thinking what's funny is I would like to see that. But what I've noticed is the majority of people don't want to see the Riddler stuff. They would rather see the everyday stuff, the more attainable stuff. And I was wondering if that's why they're doing that, because his channel gets more views. People, like a basic, like you're saying, your niche is Camaros that people could afford and buy versus...
Well, that JF, he just did he got like a Camaro, a '68 Camaro, and then he built it for $5,000, and he gave it away. That was cool, and I followed it. I thought it was interesting. I followed it, and it was bought a scrap motor out of a guy's old race car. I don't get into that anymore, but I enjoyed watching it. But it was kind of me, and I'm still kind of, I guess, to a certain point, still kind of doing that. I don't really get into the swap meets and all that stuff anymore, but
there's nothing there. It's
Nah.
like refrigerators and stuff. I don't even get it.
Snow blowers, chainsaws,
Yeah,
lawnmower.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not really. And you know, some, especially with muscle cars, with Chevelles, Camaros, Novas, and all that kind of stuff, Mustangs, you can buy so much in the aftermarket. Why would I really go buy a used part that's all beat up to shit? I got to spend a week fixing it, fiberglass in it, putting texture in it, sending these little pieces out for chrome plating, where I could buy the new one for $300, which is what people.
Yeah.
That's what people do now.
Yeah, I remember years ago I was at a swap meet and they had a header panel for like original Model A that was rotten, and the guy wanted like $300. You could buy it for 60, and I'm like going, I'm gonna pay 300 and do all the work myself to replace it. Just say what? You know,
Yeah. At this point, I'm gonna buy it for a pattern.
Yeah,
For $300, you're
yeah.
buying it for a pattern.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So you know, it's I don't know. The industry's changed a little bit. I think from even when I was in here, what was it, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, even though it's been a while. Huh?
So yeah, and the industry's changed. Even though you and I talk, we've talked, you know, obviously several times, but it's changed. I mean, people. The one thing I will say, people are very aware of what it costs now.
Everybody is. You
Very
can't even
aware.
go to a grocery store without thinking about it.
No, exactly. So that's, I mean, is it a good thing? No, but it's a good thing that people are aware of it. It's a good thing. It's a bad thing that it costs so much to do it now.
Yep.
But at least when somebody walks into my shop now, they don't walk in thinking, yeah, hey, what can you do for me for $5,000?
Yeah.
What can I do for you? I can close the door.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So people don't walk in expecting that. So that customer's gone.
Yeah.
They are gone. You don't.
The tire kickers are gone.
And I tell you right now, and my wife will even attest to you. I mean, even the time that I've been here, you know, no call, no text. I don't get that
easier,
anymore. I don't get that. So I have to admit, I think it's kind of nice not having those kind of customers anymore. Not that they were bad, but you know, I don't have to worry about them.
Yeah, it's hard because you and I both, I think.
You got out of collision and dealer work.
Yeah.
I got out of collision and dealer work I got out of it long before you did. I think I even told you a few years ago, you might want to shit can that idea because those guys will
it's
bleed
funny
you
because
dry.
I learned that lesson when I was in my early 20s and got away. I ran from it. But the only reason I did it is because there's nobody that does what we do.
No.
So I said, you know what? We'll bring in some dealer work. We'll get some guys to come in that can handle dealer work. And the best of those guys, we'll pull them out. We'll make the dream. Because like Dan Miller used to always say the dream team, you know?
Yeah.
So grab those guys out and make the dream team. If you put a gun in my head, I never thought people can't even handle that.
No.
I mean, dealer work's not easy. You have to hustle, knock it out. And the problem with it is you have to know how not to have any problems because you can't afford it.
Yeah.
So you have that aspect of it that you need to knock it out, but they can't get past that.
No.
We went through. I think we added it up a couple weeks ago. It was like, 95 employees doing dealer work.
Over the years.
Yeah, over 3 years?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you went through you had
and-
a bad run there for a while.
Just horrible. And then they say you need to pay more, so we pay more. They can't.
Didn't solve your problem.
No.
But here's now with dealer work now,
Yep.
now all our materials costs they haven't doubled, they've quadrupled material costs. So now there's no way you think even as a little corner repair on a bumper where it meets the fender where you gotta, even though from the factory they don't match, because most bumpers were painted somewhere else and the body was painted somewhere else. So they don't match anyway. But now you want me to match that and you want me to fix all that for $300 where just the plastic, the tape and the primer, the Bondo, if I got to melt the staples into the bumper to hold it back together.
That costs $45 for a pack of staples.
So so you want me to do it for $300? I'm going to have $325 in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So I know, well, every place else wanted $1,500. Yeah, exactly. Because that's, again, come on. I know even with everything that I do, I still also like to watch other businesses, especially contractors, plumbers, electricians, roofers. One of the first things they always say at the end of their sentence, after labor cost, material cost, now I got to put on my profit.
Yeah. That's usually when you get burned
I think
on.
this industry for us is we try to put it into the labor charge and everything, and where those guys are like, no, fuck it, throw it on the bill.
Yeah.
It's on the bill.
Yeah.
My 25, 30%.
I know those guys too, and they're not getting it either. It's the same thing. Most of the contractors get to the end of the job and then literally are owed, don't get their profit.
Yeah. So it doesn't. But they use the word.
Yeah.
They're always, then you got to put profit. And I watched this one guy who's a plumber. He goes, I don't do the itemized bill. He goes, I just don't do it. I don't, why should I? And I'm like, but that's also why I tell the customer, I want you to go get this and this. There you go. There's your itemized bill.
That's what, what's funny is
There's your itemized bill. You go get it.
Whatchamacallit's electrician there, he came on and said that. He told me, he goes, I don't do itemized bills either, because what people do is you get an itemized estimate, they go out and just get all the parts and try to find some scrub to do it for cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go through all this time, and because remember, like Brian Chafee there, the amount of effort he would put into doing an estimate for a muscle car.
Oh, it was unreal.
Insanity.
Like, it was 4 or 5 pages long.
Yeah, he'd lock his door and just sit in there, and he's like, and I get it, every net and bolt, but man, when you put a week into estimating a car and don't get the job, that's insane.
I had a couple people, and it's not to sound mean, but I had a couple people over the last, 3 or 4 months. Hey, come by, can you give me a price on a car? Nah.
Yeah.
No. Why? First of all, I'm not going to get to it. I'm not going to get to it. I already got a couple year backlog. I'm really not going to get into it. I'm not going to get past there. And I'm like you said in your other video, I'm telling you right now, we're already starting at 20. Yeah. So if you can handle that, that's where the jump off point is for us to even go. Wait, you didn't see the car. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're already there.
Yeah, you know it.
First of all, if it's a Chevelle or a Camaro or a Nova, I kind of got the dimensions already in my head.
Yeah,
I'm fully aware of it. 55 Chevy, 57 Chevy. I get it. I already know what it is. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Even a Mustang. Fuck it. They're all 16, 17 feet long by 5 feet wide. Okay, I get it. It is what it is. Yeah, it's just a matter of how rotted it's going to be. Yeah. But even still do body work and paint. You're already at 20K.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be there.
Well, it's funny because I kept saying that, but then I was thinking the other day I need to go up because I kept saying 20 grand for metal work, 20 grand for body work, 20 grand for paint work, 20 grand for mechanical work, 20 grand for chassis. Like that type of thing was always my estimate. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like going, everybody's going up on their prices, but the materials have went up so much that, when I was saying 16 to 20 grand to just paint the car, that was when the materials were like 4 grand.
Right.
Now they're like 8 or 9 grand.
8 or 9.
That's insane.
Yeah, even for me, even where I buy everything at O&M with Eric, he's had to go up, and believe me, he's always been very price conscious because of his clientele and everything, and even he feels kind of guilty at times. Yeah. Well, what's he gonna do?
Yeah,
he's got a wife, 2 kids, mortgage. He's just got like what everybody else has got, so he has to make profit. Yeah. But now he competes against Amazon selling stuff.
Yeah,
and he'll tell you, he'll say, you could get him here someday, and he'll sit here and tell you how many people walk through his door every day, and that shop is very busy.
Yeah.
He sells a lot of stuff, but every day, you get that on Amazon for $29. I can get that on Amazon for $35. Well, go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it.
Well, Frank, the auto body tool guy that comes around, he's been doing this
Frank.
He's been doing this for 40 years or whatever, and I think he's finally you get sick of it. And even like Ryan with the Mako, it's like they're financing it for you, letting you make payments, and then you want them to sell it for you for the same dirt cheap price that Amazon does. And it's just insane. But it gets to a point where it burns them.
To go back, 35 years ago when I had the power equipment shop, I had a chance to get the building next door, and I was always a big fisherman. So a guy had a bait and tackle store. He was going out. I bought his bait and tackle stuff. I opened the bait and tackle store.
Nice.
And I actually did very well there. I did better with that than I did with the power equipment shop. I eventually shut down the power equipment shop. I was running the bait and tackle business year round.
Oh, I didn't know you were into that. That's
cool. I was big time into that. But what killed me with that? When Walmart came around, what happened was
one aisle of
that Rapala lure, we'll say, would cost me $329. They were selling it for $299 because they could buy 100,000 from Rapala. Yeah. So what happened? There was a bunch of I used to buy, from the fishing factory and stuff, and they had their more stores and distribution. So I used to buy from a bunch of different distributors in Connecticut, and that there was, believe it or not, bait and tackle distributors around here. So they were going to incorporate so they could have better buying power.
Oh, is that why there's so many fishing factories?
Yeah,
so they're not owned by the same person?
They used to be, but not anymore. But then it was at New England Tackle. They were a distributor. They were like a big warehouse like this. There was Michael's Bait and Tackle in Springfield, Mass. So, but they were all going to get together, become a big corporation, so they could buy better from the manufacturers to compete with the Walmarts and all those kind of stores. I got out of the business. I got out of the business before it ever came to fruition. But again, it became that business became.
Well,
that
remember when
difficult.
Dan had with the cartoons,
Yep.
and then they started Boomer McLeod as partner
Yep.
or whatever, because that was the whole deal.
Yeah.
There was they were trying to make this buying network, and I think out of anybody, they were probably the closest to doing it. But then, what
Yeah.
happened.
Well, what's his name? Didn't Dan live up here, right? From
His brother does.
His brother, yeah, his
and now
brother.
his nephew does. Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause the brother-
Yeah,
the
Dan was
brother-
in. Last I knew, Dan was in Higginham.
because I know his brother lived over here. I was friends with
Daryl.
the brother Daryl. That's
Yeah,
right.
Daryl's super nice.
Yeah,
brother.
when I worked at Middletown too.
And his kid actually works for Bob. He's a machinist.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And he's a super nice kid.
Yeah, because Daryl was well. Then he worked for us at Middletown Toyota. Daryl did as an
didn't know
installer. As an installer.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
when he sold out
Yeah.
cartoons or whatever. Well, then
Well, was Daryl involved with Dan?
well,
at
what,
Cartoons?
what's the one that just moved? What's the one that was on Devoken Drive? What was that? They just moved.
Oh, that attention to detail.
That was.
Did they move out of there already?
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, I heard they put a beautiful building up
That's
in
what I heard.
Farmington or something.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then Daryl was over there for a little
That's
while.
funny. I don't know why I don't remember Daryl being a part of that.
Yeah.
I must have some memory block.
And then he was with us for Toyota, maybe a year. He was with us.
Huh.
Him and I became pretty good friends. I used to go to his house, but I don't really see him. I think he still lives over there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because where I thought his house was, it wasn't. It would turn out to be because my wife. We went there when we first got
It's
married.
that big white house on the corner
Yeah.
there where the stop sign is.
Oh, okay, yeah. So my
Yeah.
wife was right. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I thought where that they have that slammed tractor up the street here.
Yes, yeah.
I thought he lived across the street from there, but I guess that was one of their friends or something.
No, yeah. So, but yeah, so that's another industry. I mean, the auto industry, remote car start industry.
Yeah,
That's a whole nother industry.
Yeah. It's funny, we had one of the guys on the podcast, and I'm so out of touch with that. I was amazed because with all the new cars and all the electronics, the stuff they have to do, there's a lot. It's insane. It's a different world.
Frank Abitamarco still does that Middletown Toyota, and it's you got to kind of know your shit now.
Yeah.
Because you'll fry a computer, and
Yeah.
of course, a lot of them now come already pre-wired for,
Yep.
for some things. So, but again, you still got to stay up to date on all that. Stay up with it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's a whole nother.
Yeah. I wouldn't even want to touch that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I am good, man. I'm good. I'm all set. I can barely handle the wiring on these old cars, you know. So it's like, there's only 15, 16 wires on that.
I know.
so
It's so funny because it's such a simple thing. I remember we were doing that Mustang, and I remember because the old-fashioned bulbs, one's bulb's loose, and then it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so we went through, and Mark was like, he's like, that's it. He goes, I'm ripping the entire wire harness out in the fuse block and stuff like that, and there has to be something wired in. I go, wait, before you do it, he goes, no. He's like, I'm ripping. He was all pissed off, and I went back and I wiggled the light, and it was a bad bulb.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's like, I couldn't. He goes, I was gonna rip all of it out.
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
Or ground. Yeah, believe it, in most old cars, ground's more important than
yeah.
power.
Yeah.
So that's what I think a lot of people forget. I'm always like, first thing you got to make sure you got ground. If you don't got ground, you're already done.
Yeah.
So that's the
Especially
first
with
thing.
the fiberglass cars, we'll put 30 grounds on those.
Yeah,
things.
the grounding blocks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what people don't get. They're simple, stupid.
Yep.
But it's easy to trip over yourself. It's like, hey, my shoe's untied.
Yeah.
To solve the problem, you should tie your shoe.
Yeah.
But no, you're going to take another step and then you fall. So,
Yeah,
you know
It's
what
so
I mean?
true.
So that's kind of what people do sometimes. They get into electrical and they get themselves lost. And hold on. There's, you go to that fuse block. I think on a 69 Camaro, it's 18 wires. You're not getting crazy. I had a 66 Nova one time, and there was only 9 wires in that car. I was like, holy shit, there's really nothing to these. So they're not that difficult.
Yeah.
But if you don't have, first thing, you don't have ground. If you don't got ground,
you're
you're already done.
Yeah.
So, that's what I tell people.
Yeah,
all the
we
time.
you start doing the new motors. You add some more wiring on their electronics, stuff like that. You start doing the audio systems, the security. You know, like Mark was saying, he wants to do ABS and all that type of stuff on all the car and the muscle cars and stuff like that, which is going to be a whole new beast. It's just more.
Yeah, I'm really cool with. I love roaster shop chassis. I've done a few of them. I like all them. At a couple places I've worked at. So I'm cool with. I like all that stuff, and I like the rest of mine. I love AC. I want to put AC in one of my cars only because I want to make the car a little bit more fun to drive on those hot days.
Yep.
And my wife and I can go do something. So that's the only reason why I'm not putting air conditioning in it to make it more valuable. I'm making it more user friendly to me.
Yeah, better way of life.
That type of stuff. Plus, it does clean up. Vintage air cleans up the firewall. You don't got that big heater box hanging off the fire. It cleans them all up.
Yeah.
So, as far as that kind of stuff, I do like all that. And I have to admit, having the tubular control arms, the heavy duty sway bar, it was the first time I ever did it. And it definitely has.
Yeah, it's night and day.
It's definitely made a big difference versus the old steel stamp control arms. It's definitely made it when I'm going around a corner.
And that's all QA1, you said?
Yeah. Compared to, even though I'm rolling on some big steamroller for Kraggers, it definitely helps. It definitely did help.
Yeah,
you
all
know?
the little things add up.
It does. It's expensive, but it does help. But I'm not looking to road track or this and that with it. Where I think a guy going more of a, putting a full chassis into the car is looking to do more with the car that I want to do. But I also don't want to spend the money. I mean, I don't mind spending money, but I'm not into that $18,000, $20,000, $25,000, $40,000 chassis.
Yeah.
I don't get that excited over it. I like them and they're cool and I get it and I've done. And it's funny because here I am, the guy that does all mini tubbing and I do all that, and yet I'm not. I like my big fat tire sticking. I'm a little old school, but yet then again, I do love 22-inch tires tucked underneath a Camaro or a Mustang or whatever. I love seeing them all tucked underneath there.
I think doesn't Brian have a green Camaro like yours that's lifted with the tire sticking out? Brian owns Auto Body Shop Price.
No, he did.
He did.
He had a 68. He sold it, and now he's got a 69 Chevelle, which my buddy Rob Lorenzo said, "Hey, Brian was wondering if you're going to take the car in October." I'm like, I forgot all about it. I forgot all about it. Yeah, I was like, it's another one I got to add to the. I just said.
They're such big projects.
At least I don't have to put it back together.
No.
The body work was already kind of done. He just really wants it really, really blocked and painted Le Mans blue, whatever, 60 Marina blue. So I'm like,
hey, your buddy Rob there, he has a ton of cars, right?
Yeah.
It's like every time he pops up on Facebook all the time, you'll see he's like a new car.
The manual cars.
Yeah.
He's got, when you were at the shop, the 71 Chevelle, when you came down, that's his. So I painted some of it. It's already in 400, but I'm trying to get the green one done. Trying to get the green one done for the Main Street show in Middletown.
When's that? In
September 2nd. I don't think I'm going to make it, but I'm going to try hard. I probably shouldn't be here right now, but I'm going to try hard. And I'm not doing it because I need more work. I just kind of want to. I think the car's going to come out so nice that I wanted to have it.
What you showed me looks really pretty. Yeah.
I just wanted to have it be there, but I may not make it. But it's all right.
But you still got. They're going to have to do final assembly after that.
No, I'm going to do it all.
Oh, you're doing everything.
This one I'm doing. But the motor's rebuilt. It's been dynoed over what do you call this place? It's been all dyed because we put all solid cam and lifters back in the original motor. So it's all run. Everything's done. Everything's broken in. Got about a little over an hour of runtime on it. So the training's all rebuilt. That's all done. Brand new clutch. All that's done. And the front end, I already had everything's all rebuilt. Everything's done. Motor and training. That's why I didn't have the nose on it because I don't want to go over the fenders with it. I just want to slide it right back in. So I don't have to do it. So I mean, I'll get my buddy Louie back in. All the accessories, everything's already been sandblasted and painted. It's all been it's all upstairs, all wrapped up. So it's just a matter of both. It's all been pre-done. All the nuts, bolts have been sandblasted and painted. I run taps and dies down everything, so it should all.
You've done so many of them. It's got to just come in second nature. Like every nut and bolt goes in those things.
And we're putting on the original bumpers and stuff. We're putting all that back on.
Yeah.
He wants it. They're in nice shape, but he wants it all back on. Came off the car, it went back on the car. Every bolt, wherever it came out, went right back in. I didn't break one nut or bolt.
Wow.
It came apart. Matter of fact, the original sticker where he bought it from down in Bridgeport, the shop was kind of a Yanko Baldwin Motion factory shop for the time, and that's where and I saved the sticker. I put wax on it, put my tape on it, didn't press it on, and I did the super build over it. I base coat, I cleared it, and the other, so I, right when I cleared it, I always left one little corner up. So when I cleared it, last Friday, when I cleared it, I went in like 20 minutes left of I did 4 coats of clear on it. I took it off before the clear dried.
Roll the edge in,
And I'm like, I should have taken the picture of it for you. The tape didn't even pull nothing off.
That's actually a good idea because you know how many times you work in an older car. Like I do like detack it. You sit there and you put your lint, get lint all over it, put it on there. Because when you get like we did an interior job on one car and they patinaed it and I put blue detack tape on it.
Yep.
So it's like it doesn't stick for shit and you peel it up and it still takes the patina off.
Yeah.
And it just like drives you crazy. You're like.
I use what's called marina wax, insulator wax. Okay. So it's kind of creamy. Yeah. So I like on that.
So that's why the tape sticks to it because it's almost like wettish.
Yeah, so it sticks to it, but not it what does but doesn't. But it kind of, since I cover it with the tape, it kind of never really dries, But it doesn't drip or nothing.
Nice.
And I'm putting it on a shop towel, not on a not even on like a fiber optic towel or anything. So it soaks into the actual paper towel. So I'm putting on a nice film of it. So I'm not putting it on
and it's
very
easy to
wet.
clean afterwards, so it doesn't.
Right. So when I go to take the tape off that trunk seal that I was saying, because it's the original one, I've done it before and it worked. I'm hoping this one wasn't so dried out that it won't. I didn't get it on the bottom, but where the tape, I really wanted the tape to stick a little bit. And I just pushed the tape on. Because again, like I told you, the trunk lid was going to be closed. I did paint the jam and cleared the jam. And then I did my coats. But I had like a little bit of a science. So believe me, when I opened it up, I didn't know what to expect. Yeah. And it worked. I ended up with a little bit of a run with the clear. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll get all that out. But it all worked. So all that to preserve the stickers. And because it was, all the original stickers from when the car came out of the factory.
Nice.
So the back seat, when I take it out, supposedly it's never been out. So we're hoping the build sheet's underneath it. So we'll see.
Yeah, you see the label.
Then I got to bring the seats here, and then we got to scuff them and dye them.
I'm trying to do this company out of Texas. Their dye looks amazing.
Actually, you got to give me a name of a dye that I should buy. Should I put it in the gun?
That's what I'm trying to find. There's like this guy in Texas has this dye that's amazing right now, and I was trying to find it, but they kind of want you to buy, like, get involved, like you're going to sell this, or not, like become a franchise of it.
Oh, really?
And I don't really get involved in that shit.
Do I buy spray cans? Do I put it in a gun? What am I?
So it depends how bad the material is. If it's not bad at all and the color match is good, you could clean up and use the SEM. The SEM dye is fine.
I cleaned up one door panel. I couldn't believe how nice it cleaned up. So, but the problem with the door panels, they got that little chrome piece.
Yep.
I got to try the same thing, my trick of waxing. Put the tape on. I got to try it. I told them I can't guarantee that, but I know some of the stains will come back through, especially on the door panel.
Well, sometimes if you use like more of a paint, like a solvent dye, it paints it more, and those sometimes work better because it won't come through. When you use true dye, it absorbs in there, and then some of the back stuff comes out.
Yeah. Again, believe it or not, this guy plans on driving. He's in the 70s. He's going to drive the wheels off. It's already being left to his son.
Yep.
So it's going to be a driver. That's why I didn't restore the ending. He brought it to me because he did. Every other shop wanted to do a full frame off, put it on a rotisserie, take off all. Still has the original undercoat. He goes, why do I don't want any of it off. I want all that to be there. Yeah. So I left. I took the rear end out because we did anything rubber. Yeah. All the leaf springs, all that came out. And then, of course, I pulled out the axles, did the new axle seals, pinion seal, all that kind of stuff. But, dude, everything was like brand new. Yeah. Every bolt, even the front leaf springs, the three bolts that are in the front that hold that front leaf spring cup, they always break. The cage nut breaks, every one of them. And I bought a package of new ones just in case. But they all...
I'm convinced that most of the restoration shops are telling people to want frame off just as a money grab.
I think so.
And take all their money and then have them never finish the car.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why, if you could save yourself 5 or 6 months worth of work and then turn that into another job, I'd rather go work on another job. Because first of all, the car's been at my shop for like a year and a half, but he knew that when that Volkswagen bus came in, she waited for me for years. When I was getting it, she went ahead of everybody because she waited. Because I didn't have to do it. I had to make the bottom half of a door. Right? It wasn't a lot of fabrication. So they understood that they were going to be on a break, the two. They were going to be on a break, which by that time, oh, that's nice. Yeah. So you guys are going to have 4 or 5 months to save up some money and everything. So they were both like, ooh, they both kind of enjoyed it, really. Yeah. So now I got the van done. The lady's happy it's done, and now I'm finishing both up. But you just had to tell it. Everybody knew beforehand, and so now I'm getting those done. But that's how, because I'm small, I have to communicate with the customer, and I don't want 30 cars. I don't want it. I don't want to do it.
I get, when I see it now, I actually get anxiety and sick. I feel bad for people with it because it's just like there's so much to go into getting a car done, and if you don't have the right crew, it becomes impossible, and the only outcome is failure. Because it's like you need, like when you look at the Kindiggets, people don't realize finishing a full build.
Yes.
It's huge.
Oh, yeah.
When you got everything on it, the customer drives away safe and sound with everything done, There's a lot of procedures that go into that.
And when you did watch the show, you saw previous builds back in the shop
Yep.
for getting things fixed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is common.
Yeah.
Which I run into it. Hey, actually the van I had to bring back in because I had to fix the emblem, front emblem got knocked off.
Yep.
And so I had to figure out a different way to mount it.
Well, they're cars and you're servicing them.
Right.
It's just going to happen.
Right. So things like that, it came back for, nothing
Not
paint or body,
failures,
no failures, just figure out ways. So I ended up drilling holes and countersinking, and it actually came out better the second time.
Nice.
So it worked out good, but that's part of the business. But when you're doing a full frame off motor training, you're going to maybe have a leak, this, maybe something electrical's not working, a light's not working, this and that. So, you got to kind of expect some of that to come back for a few things. There's a funny noise, Of course, the car's got to settle in.
Yeah.
Of course, a big mistake, especially like on coil spring cars like a Camaro or Chevelle or stuff, guys put the coil springs in wrong. They don't put them in the pocket.
Yeah,
they don't think there's a pocket.
Yeah, they don't
that end of that spring has to go somewhere, and it just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, there's so much stupid.
There's an actual spot where it goes, and they have to be clocked a certain way. And they're like, I don't understand, my car's pinched.
Yeah.
What, you got the coil spring? Oh, no, I put it in the way. No, it's in wrong.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, it's in wrong.
Yeah.
I can look and see it's. Oh yeah, you're not even close.
See, that's still the stuff that drives me crazy because so many people think they know something, but they don't when they do it. Actually, when the first time I met Woody, when I was at his shop, he had a car there, and I told him, I said, they did a brake conversion. They put power brakes on, but they didn't change the master cylinder, didn't change the brake size, or any of that stuff. And I said, do me a favor. I said, just get it up on jack stands when you try it.
Yeah.
Because it's like so many people do something like that and don't realize you're supposed to change the master. You're supposed to change the brake line size. And then they get it on, they start the car up, and it just drives into the next car.
Yep.
Because they don't know there's no brakes.
There's no brakes. Yeah.
Yeah, it scares me.
Yeah. The brake. Yeah. The pedal's up too high or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's again all part of it. There's a lot to all of it. And again, you and I also have to build the cars, and then we also got to run the business. So we got to kind of have like we discussed in the first video, you're changing hats all the time, which I like. I don't know if I think what always made my decision is I didn't really want to be involved with employees because having been a manager at other shops, I found that the employees were more tiring. And again, it's not against employees. It was encompassing of it all. This guy's off. This guy. Okay, this guy's not. It's not that they were bad. Okay, this guy's off.
It's just
today.
real life.
This guy's off tomorrow. Okay, he's not going to come in. He's going to be on vacation. Okay, she's not coming in. Oh, my detail guy, he's not going to be here. That's his week's vacation. So it wasn't that they were bad employees. It was that you had to keep track of who wasn't coming in, who was on vacation, who was doing this, who can't do that job, who can do that job. He's not qualified for that one. Okay, well, we got to get him up. We got to start teaching him how to get this one. And that. It's
encompassed, yeah.
That gets to me.
Yeah.
That gets to me. Where now I can kind of do my thing, which I think you're starting to see the 100%. Enjoyment of. I mean, there's got to be nice when you can pull in a seat now and just, the only person who's got to worry about it is Eddie B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's nice. I was talking to John about it last night. And it was funny because even Mark had made some comments. And I said, actually one of his guys asked, and I'm like, what are you going to build? I said, I'm just going to build my own shit and keep it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to anymore because you're just so exhausted doing it. Because like what you love doing, you're never doing it.
Yeah.
You're always in the office. You're always doing, billing and dealing with customers and this stuff. Like I see Mark and the stuff that he's dealing with. And it's just, when I see him, I'm just like, God bless you, because I do not want to, like, if you're going to yell at me, I'm going to yell back now.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not playing those games.
Well, that's why I always thought, that's why I think you doing, a lot more of the motorcycle seats, you're back, I mean, you were always into it, but, doing that.
Well, I stopped motorcycle seats for almost 4 years because I couldn't do them because I'm not going to have my employees do it and give you a bad reputation. It's something you did your whole life.
Right.
But then I'm looking back, I go, how much, like, easy business did I lose? Not easy for me that I love.
That you gave to somebody else.
Yeah, or just didn't even do.
Yeah.
We didn't even do it. We lost our ranking on the internet, all that
Right.
stuff, and then the internet algorithms changed, and now you have to do all that shit. So
you got to fight back.
Yeah.
But that's kind of why I think I kind of been getting away from reassembling cars again because I don't have the space for it. And it's not the part that I enjoy, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I even put my car back together. I was like, God, because I kind of.
Well, it's not counterintuitive. I always tell people this: body work, even though it has to be perfection, you could hustle through it. You could motivate. You could work. You know what you're doing.
Yep.
The second you're putting like the brake work on, you have to slow down. You have to be very careful. any little thing could fuck something up really bad.
Yeah.
So there's more stress, more anxiety, and sometimes you just feel like you're not being productive.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like if you have a mindset like you're a hustler, get shit done, get going, to stop and be like, what'd you do today? I spent 8 hours trying to put one piece of trim on.
Yeah.
You know, that's insane.
Oh yeah, I actually like the rocker molding.
The trim looks nice on that car too.
Yeah, thank you. I got brand new ones when my wife got them for me for Christmas. So I go to put the right side on, and I leave the strip that goes on the body. I leave a little loose because it's got a tuck behind it.
Yep.
So you leave it a little loose. So I use the self-tapping screws. I don't use the screws they give you. They give you those cheap little ones.
They fall out.
So I use my self-tappers. I put it in, get it tight, and then I back it up a little bit. So then I try to trim on it. Okay, because it tucks, and then you slap it, and it goes on. I slapped it a little hard.
Oh, you bend it?
Because it was cheap.
It's so thin.
And I bent it. So I'm like, all right, I take it off, go to the other side, kind of find out I just put the screws tighter than I should have, so it wasn't sitting in all the way. So I go to the other side, loosen it up, perfect. So I go out to my shed. I knew I had an old rocker molding that was in nice shape. That's why I kept it. And I had just bought buffing pads for aluminum with all the rouges.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep the original moldings around my Nova, because I bought in the aftermarket and they're horrible, and the original ones are nice and they could be polished. Yep. And my buddy Paul's real good at it. But more than anything, I want to learn how to do it. And it goes on my 4-inch buffer, or cutoff wheel, you know. So I bought them. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to try it. Got the white one. It's a softer pad. Put the red rouge on it, and there I am holding that trim, the old one. Dude, it came out fantastic, and that's when it's on the car right now.
Nice.
And it came out. And
it's so much thicker metal too.
It was thicker metal. Of course, I gave a half a turn on each screw, so it tucked in nice. Boom, boom, it popped in. But now that car never had rocker molding, so now you got to drill the end holes. Yeah. So here we go.
As soon as you said when you hit it and it bent, I think I had one of the guys. I walked in a second too late, and he had a rubber mallet with new trim whacking it. And I'm like, dude, I go, if you do the body work and gap everything right, and then put the clips in right, it just.
Yep. Well, like a lot of guys do, like the roof trim molding.
Yes. Yep.
Well, they paint that, so they got primer on it, paint, clear, and now they're trying to put trim on it.
Yeah.
Dude, I tape it. I first of all I sanded it all down. You know, there was still. Then I just took an aerosol can of primer.
Yep.
Put primer on, and I put tape on it the entire time. I did the body work and the super build and the two. I did it, so it never got any more on. So I went to go put that on. Goes right on.
Nice.
You don't need all that thickness. You don't need all that. But now the green one at my shop, it doesn't have it. So of course I painted it.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be painted. But it's got
that's painted, no trim.
No trim. It's an X77.
That's a vinyl top car though.
Yeah, it's an X77 car. So that's what's rare about that car in my shop. It has the rocker molding trim for an X77 Code G28. It's got the vinyl sport top, not the full vinyl.
Go to the drip rail. It goes
right. So it's got the sport top.
That's why you paint it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, and I don't know. I that super build on there.
Yep.
That super build on there. So so on the roof.
Yeah.
So I didn't put paint on it. I saw so many contradicting things. Some guys put paint, some guys put clear. The car. Then I thought to myself, the car's never going to be in the rain. It's going to be a family car like mine in the garage, nice days. I'm like, I know the vinyl tops will suck up some moisture, but I'm like, hey, it's always going to go back to where it was anyway. The guy kept it in a beautiful garage, so it's going to go back there. And then the son's got a beautiful garage where it's going to go. So I'm not really. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to have a problem. I'll be dead anyway.
Screw you!
Don't get mad at me. No, I think I'll be fine.
You can talk shit about me all you want when I'm dead.
What else on the list? Anything on the list you want to talk about?
Yeah, so they had, what was the one there? After our first episode, was there anything you wish we had talked about or explained differently? I thought there was something you told me, and then I had a brain fart, couldn't remember it.
I think you're right, but now I can't think of it either.
Okay.
I guess I should have watched the video. I watched it again about 3 weeks ago.
Did you?
I watched it. Even my daughter enjoys watching it.
Oh, nice.
My daughter thought you and I did a good job. She thought
There's a bunch of car guys trying to be YouTubers, right?
Yeah.
Has the restoration customer changed? So that's ironically with you've dialed it in so that your customers are very good now. Where most of the restoration shops, if not all of them that I talk to, are having an issue with customers because of the pricing, because of how long things take.
Right.
And it's tough. You deal with it every day. There's like you have to spend an extra 8 hours on a car. That's an extra $1,600. So it adds up very quick. So I think people are cautious. But with you, luckily, you got a good clientele now that trusts you.
And I also think too, I won't take a job in that I don't know how to do. You know what I mean? Or I'm like, okay, look, I've never done this before, and I make sure I explain to the customer, I've never done this. Like I'm not a Mustang guy.
Yeah.
Have I worked on Mustang?
Yeah, you're always GM, huh?
I'm always GM,
Yeah.
but have I put frame rails on a Mustang? Yes. Have I put front torque boxes on a Mustang? Yes. Have I made them? Yes. I've done it all. But if you're going to ask me everything about a Mustang, no, I don't know.
Yeah,
But have I put quarter panels on them? Yes. Have I put floors in them? Yes. Have I put the shock towers in them? Yes.
I'm right there with you.
So, I'm not a Mustang guy. I'm not, and dude, I would if somebody give me an opportunity to go buy a 65, 66, 7, 8, and 9 fastback, I'd buy it and be in my garage right now.
So
do I
many
like
people-
them? I like
so
them.
Everybody expects you to know every single aspect of every single car, but most of the people that work on this stuff don't. And you get the rare guys like the Mopar guys who really
Right.
get vested in stuff,
Right.
and they know everything. But for the most restoration shops, people it's your job.
So
you
it's
do
going
it.
to take, basically what it comes down to, it's going to take me a little longer because, okay, I got to make sure, first of all, I want the part so I know what I need to cut out. Because I know when I buy a floor for a 6, 7, 8, 9 Camaro, I know exactly what needs to come out. So I get into my plasma cutter. That's another thing. Yeah, I got plasma cutters. Some shops don't.
Yeah,
I got my plasma cutter, man. I cut out the floor, boom, boom, it all gets out. Dude, I know exactly. I don't have to question anything.
Yeah.
I already know. I already know what I need to do to the new floor before it goes in. Now with a Mustang, I would have to have the full floor in there first. Okay, so this comes out. Okay, that stays. That comes out. I have to save that.
Yeah.
I would have to learn. So I hate to say it, you're going to pay for me to learn. And most people I think
Mustang
are
is weird with the torque boxes and all that stuff. Some have 2 torque boxes, some has 1,
Right.
some you could upgrade it to.
Yeah.
And then
some of the year Mustangs got a floor and then another floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's again, can I do it? Yeah, I can do it all. But I'm just letting you know I'm not as familiar. So it's going to take me, with a Camaro floor, I can bang it out in 40 hours. It's going to probably take me 60.
Yeah. But the problem is there's nobody else to do it, so they're going to have to deal with people like us who do
Yeah.
it because there's no one left. Obviously, what makes a great customer is someone who pays you and keeps their mouth shut. Lets you do your thing.
The guy, the 55 Chevy, when I was here last time, I had just finished up, and that guy, he just won another trophy Saturday, and I'll read exactly what he sent me. So to me, as a shop owner, and as a painter, and as a body guy, I think this is the compliment that all of us look for, I believe. Here's what he sent me back. He won a trophy, and he's parked next to a black 55 Chevy, and he won. So he goes, it was a smaller show. He goes, there were 75 cars here, first year at some campground in Rhode Island. They gave out 10 trophies, and we got one. The main reason that draws them to the car is the finish, the color, and the quality of the work. They all start looking it over because I painted the dash. I painted the.
What color was that one? Teal?
It's called black rose, kind of like a black cherry
Okay.
color. And he goes, and then he put all his gauges on the dash, chrome with against the burgundy dash,
Yeah, it's pretty.
black rose. And he goes, but the initial draw is the body and paint work. He goes, you are not only a fabricator, you are an artist.
That's a good. That's
I mean,
a nice compliment.
to me, and I got 50 of those messages from him all the time when he goes to a show. So I don't know. I'm just this one little guy in a shop by myself, but that type of to get that type of message, I think is what we all really want.
Yeah.
In the end,
Yeah.
it's the validation for what you did.
Your blood, sweat, and
whether
tears.
it's you doing all that custom interior, you're doing your paint and body work, you're doing the fabrication that you guys have done. But when you get it all done, you just want somebody to say, thank you, I took it to a show, and this is what I got for your work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it's every weekend. He sends
And I
me
think
something.
I think a lot of big restoration shops would be envious of having that because they don't get that anymore. A lot of them, because there's just so much involved in the business side that you miss the personal relationship and then the customer approval when they really appreciate that.
If I could go back, if I could redo something, off one of the questions,
Yep.
if I could go back and be 40-year-old me,
Yep.
38-year-old me,
Yeah.
and want to go into business then, I know I told you this before, to know that I want to have the shop be a certain size and to make sure everything I'm doing is for success,
Yep.
which I did, but I never really thought about ever growing. That's my biggest regret, is I never thought about getting to at least maybe like a 4 or 5 man shop, and 4 or 5 good guys that I think that, say I had 5 guys, I think they have the shop running well enough to always keep 3 good guys that would have stayed with me for a long time.
Yeah.
That would have been my goal, where every day you come in, you're happy to see each other. Yep. You're happy to go in to attack a problem every day together.
Yep.
I'm confident in their work. They're confident in my work. The one thing when I had my power equipment shop, everybody used to go on vacation at the same time.
Yeah.
I didn't want anybody to be responsible for something I wasn't responsible for.
Yep, yep.
So that's what I would have done. Shop closed. That's what I always did. Shop closed down this week. In the spring, we closed down this time in late summer. That's the way I always did it. I felt everybody went away, they came back fresh, and nobody was left holding a bag and being responsible.
Yeah, smart.
For
I
something.
like a lot of that.
And,
I think 3 or 4 guys would be the perfect shop if you had a great body guy, great upholstery guy, great mechanic, and then
Even if you didn't do, just for my end, because you always did the interior, but like your size shop, just think about if you had 2 guys over there doing nice fabrication work all day, doing nice work all day on your far end. Then in the middle, where your big door is, you got a couple of good body guys slinging the hash, but laying it out nice, because they're not working hard at it, because your 2 metal guys were fantastic. But your metal guys were talking to your body guys, hey, what do you think? If I weld this here, I make this, do you think you can without getting too thick? You know, okay. And then, boom, it's across. You do your paint, you do your West Indian, your buffing, and then you're upstairs here, all boxed
so
up.
hard
I
for
mean,
me.
I'm just saying, in a perfect world.
Well, we kind of had that. So we had 2 upholstery guys, 2
I know
body
you
guys.
did it one time.
But the problem is, you're not on it doing it. If you're not hands-on, to me, doing a build, like a project manager is equally as important. And if you're not a hands-on project manager, you lose so many aspects of the job. And then it just becomes you not litigating, but like just babysitting people all the time and doing that.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I know. That's why I used the word. You had to have the good guys that were with you for a long time, that you entrusted to make decisions, which is was always my big thing when I was a manager. I'm the manager, and you're trusting me to make decisions. And then when you come in to undo some of what we did, but we ended up with the same result, to me made no sense. Well, we still got to where we needed to get. So but. Obviously,
see, the difference is, like, with the smaller shop, you need is the old school way where you have like for a minute we had everybody worked together really well. One guy specialized in mechanical, one guy specialized in body work. I did the upholstery work, but when shit needed to get done, everybody would work together. And that's what you're missing. And I know, like, I haven't talked to him in years, but Steve up at Wilson Steely, I envied their shop at one point because they had such a good. We were seeing them at shows, and they were like more of a family, and then you could hear that, like, each guy specialized, but everybody chipped in and did so if there's go time, and they would do it gladly. And I remember his shop was all good dudes, and just like and you're like, man, that's the ticket right there.
I mean, the statement of one bad apple will spoil the.
Oh yeah,
true. It's very, very. I saw it on the collision side and restoration shops that I've worked at over the years, and I mean, I haven't really worked at for anybody for a long time, but I've gone in and helped places. To be an employee again was going to be tough for me, and I was close. I was close. I was close, as you know. I was really close, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't really want to do it, and it was going to be easy to do it because I was going to lose my building. But now, knock on wood.
Yeah, you looked out.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope, but I haven't. Believe it or not, I still haven't seen the landlord.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen him.
Wow.
I talked to him on the phone once.
Wow.
So.
And that's a new landlord?
No.
Oh, you're
still
the
original.
Wow.
So, but I don't know. So we'll see. But I think if there's one thing I would have changed, it would have been, I wish I had set myself up for success a little bit more and would have gone down that path a little bit farther. But I think maybe coming out of the collision world and coming out of, being in management, I think I was kind of burnt out at that point with people. So I don't think I was just in a good place. I just wanted to get away, and I got down there, and it was just always quiet. I was just humming along, sanding, and I I didn't think that way. I just didn't even think of it. It was like, and I was always busy. I always had a few bucks in my pocket, wasn't looking to be rich. And I think maybe I wasn't looking to build a company. And I think now I look back on it, it probably would have been nice. I think also too, there was nobody to hand it off to. Like my daughter has no interest in it. But now when I look at it, I could have had something to sell. You know, I could have sold something. You could have sold like my brother sells a hardware store, so he still has something to sell. I mean, granted, he's got $500,000 of inventory, so he's technically selling the inventory, but he's been there for 35 years, so he's certainly going to sell the one hardware store in Terryville, Connecticut. He's going to sell it, so it's going to have value just for that. But he also has $500,000, maybe $750,000 worth of inventory in the store too that would be sold. Yeah. Now you only get so many cents on the dollar for all that, but he has something to sell. Where I maybe could have had some cars and some clients that, as I was easing out of it, they would have been sold off.
Yeah.
To do it the correct way. Because we know of a couple of shops that didn't do it correctly.
It's a tough, no, none of them do. It's a tough business to have an exit strategy. And you have certain ones, like what's funny is I had reached out to LeBrec Autocraft to see if Mike would come on. Because I don't know him, I just have only heard great things about that shop.
Oh yeah, their place, from what I understand, in Enfield.
Yeah, I heard such good things. And so I think it was his wife turned out that was responding to me, and she says, would it be okay if one of their boys came on? And I go, how cool a thing that both his sons are.
Absolutely.
And so that's a scenario like that. Now they could take over business and work on it and do that. That's excellent. That's like really rare.
And I probably would have thought that way if I had had a son, or even if my daughter was really into it. And she had really been into the car thing, maybe not physically doing the work, but maybe got the business part of it that she really liked and was willing to take it over there. Kind of like what Paula tried to do with E-Muscle, with Brian's. And then she did very well.
She was trying to have the son take over?
No. Son, Brian Jr. never wanted. No, but Paula really ran the business, I thought, very well for quite a few years.
Yeah.
When she had moved it, you know. And I thought she did very well. At one point, she was humming along pretty good for a while. And it started to just have the same problems that everybody else did. Was some of her good employees were aging out, was Smoking Joe and all that. They all kind of just got old. I mean, it wasn't their fault.
You know what's funny is I had sent a message to Smoking Joe, I want to say 2 years ago, and he just responded to it. And he made a joke, it was like first time he checked his Facebook.
Yeah.
And he's still saying, he's like, yo, Bear, He goes, I'm down, I'm still building cars, and Joe's got to be 80?
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
He looked 80 20 years ago.
I love Joe. I wish he was, when all that stuff happened, he actually came over with us because we had a good thing with Dan and him and stuff like that. And then it kind of got a little weird, but.
It was, I think that's probably my one regret. Maybe I should have prepared a little bit better, but I didn't know. And I did know I had nobody to hand it off to. That's probably the one thing. But then I sit back and I look at it when I almost was going to have to lose the place. Yeah. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. It was a couple nights at the house. I was a little emotional.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Life changer.
It was like it's 18 years of my life. I'm not throwing it away, but I didn't like the fact that I wasn't gonna have control of how I was gonna lose it.
Yeah.
So that I think was bothering me. And I think when I spoke to you, I think you saw that with me. When we went over, looked at that other place. I think for me that was the harder part, knowing that you worked so hard at something, and now it wasn't because of my failure. Yeah, I worked so hard, and now why is this happening when I got some of the best customers I've ever had in my life? They talk about an oxymoron. That doesn't even seem to make any sense.
That's how it is.
And I know for a fact that the 3 or 4 cars that I want to bring in, if they're my final swan song, I know all of them are going to be very good, very well-paying customers, and some of them are going to be really cool cars. Yeah. And if they are my final at bat,
good way to go out.
It's going to be. I would look at it as the Z28, the green one. Yep. The big block RS SS Camaro. If that gets to fruition, the guy, whether or not he finishes it, because I'm not. So whether or not he finishes it, I don't know. But the one for Rob. That's not that car, but then I got a beautiful numbers matching 70 Z28 coming in. that the guy's had for 40 years.
Wow.
You know, he just had to have the motor all sleeved because he saved the original motor.
Wow.
Most people would have thrown away, but he saved it.
Yep.
He put as much money in that motor as he's probably going to put in the body because the body's in nice shape. And then I got a really cool Alfa Romeo that a guy bought brand new.
Wow, that's
coming
a
in.
different one.
Yeah.
Old one?
No.
Like
But-
an 80s Spider or something?
Yeah. Cool car.
Those things were rust body.
This thing's been in the garage its whole life.
Oh,
It's
really?
only got 20,000 original miles on it.
Wow.
The only reason I got to paint it is because where he had it at his house at the Cape, the windows, the paint
Yeah.
melted.
Is it a red, Alpha Red?
No, it's silver.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Silver.
Oh,
Car's beautiful.
Huh.
And then I got another 68 Camaro
Nice.
convertible. That same thing. Guy bought it in like 1970 something. So it's just more. It's not a special car. It's been in the family for 45 years, whatever. So they're kind of like nice cars to go out. If I go out, it'd be nice cars to go out with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They all mean the Alfa. The guy bought it brand new.
Oh, wow.
So he's one owner.
Yep.
And the 70Z, the guy's had it, like I said, since the early 70s, and the same thing with the 68. So they're cars, which ones I like, because I think people are more attached to them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much the cars that are in my shop now.
Yeah.
You know, so there's longevity to them. You know, and there's meaning to them all. You know, so that's kind of what I go for.
Yeah,
like with the
value.
55 Chevy and stuff. You know, and I mean I got a couple others that are maybes that whether or not I decide I want to do them. You know, but. That's enough. That's enough. Couple of years worth of work, and I'll be 62 next year. Then whatever. I guess I'm gonna be at the mercy of the landlord again. You know what I mean? So I'll be. We'll see what happens. See what happens when he
Yeah,
comes
it's
around.
funny because I wish I had bought a building or something years like when I was young. Because when you're younger, you're like, hey, you don't want to worry about the responsibility if something goes wrong and all that stuff. But then you're like, think about it now in life, you would have been paid off and had like the building, you know, instead of paying. Because I basically you pay rent your entire life for what?
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly. I never. You know. I mean, like I told you, I always knew he was going to sell the place. I mean, most landlords do, you know. And I always kind of knew the guy was going to sell it. But like I said, what caught me by surprise when it wasn't him that told me. And like I said,
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
it was my wife. And then, of course, my wife's been saying, no, don't worry about it. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to that guy. You know, he doesn't own it. Which my wife is right. Yeah, you don't own it. Yeah, why am I listening to you?
Yeah,
why am I letting you get me nervous?
Yeah, they catch you off guard, so you're shocked and you believe them or whatever.
Yeah. Or what if I did make a move to get out?
Yeah, then you didn't have to. Yeah.
If I got scared and made a move and I left, you know what I mean? Or if I got mad, fuck you, and got all pissed off, which I said to myself, my landlord's been fantastic to me. That's the wrong thing I could do. He has been wonderful. You guys couldn't have asked for a better one. So I don't want to do that. That didn't make any sense either. So next thing to do was call him and find out, and he reassured me, and then I'm just going to sit back. I don't like it hanging over my head, but I'm at an age now where I guess I could be comfortable with it because I'll be 62 next June. So I'm going to get my Social Security at 62. So why not?
Yeah. That's the funny thing. I was on the SSI website last night. I'm like going, you never thought you'd be at that point. You know, where you're starting to look at retirement stuff.
Well, my wife got hers at 62, and she has her pension. And so
I can't. I went through because I made so many bad mistakes. I can't retire until I'm 72.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about that. Yeah. I should have done what you did because it would be more. Yeah, because I think if you're running a good business, nothing changes. It's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And I'm not running a big business, so for me, it's not broke, don't fix it. The only thing you want, I think like any shop, is you just want the good customers. I have the good customers right now, and I'm very happy with all my customers right now. And I think customers are happy with me. So that's my status quo at this point. I'm right there, and it took me a long time to get there. I'm really happy with it. And even the 3 or 4 cars I had done previous to what I got were fantastic. So really, I'm on a good roll.
Yeah.
Let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah. Do the George Costanza.
Yeah,
I'm out. Every time you leave, it's something funny.
I know, right?
He's like, I'm out.
But I don't go out. I don't bury myself. I don't make promises I can't keep.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
I don't make promises I can't keep. No.
It's tough.
Like I told you when I went to that show Sunday. Don't even talk to me. I'm not there. I'm not going to get there. Or we'll have this conversation next year at this time.
Yeah.
because I don't want your car at my shop. I don't need it. I don't care what it is.
I think it's nice as you get older, because that's my big focus, is just having what you could get done, knowing that, you don't want to have this like shop with 80 cars, and then like, what's your exit strategy at that point? If there's nobody to take over, and you're not going to sell your business to someone who's going to fail.
No.
Or make it look bad, because then pretty much everything you did, like my whole thing was the same thing as you said. Like my kids, they're great in their careers and what they're doing. They want nothing to do with this, and so I was like, you know what, we'll just run with it. And I kind of wanted to have it go to Lewis, who was working here, because Lewis, I wish he was my son. He was such a good person.
Right.
But then obviously it didn't work. Actually, I think everything worked out better for him, because now he has something like more
tangible.
Yep. Which I'm glad for him. Because just it's weird, because I never thought I'd feel so much of the uncertainty in the industry. Where it's like you start seeing like where the new cars are going. I was at a shop picking up a car, and like they do newer cars, and I asked them about some of the new Audis and things like that, and they're like, we're not even touching them because they're making it so it's going to be straight. And these are like experts, like the serious guys.
Yep.
So you're like, the new car business is kind of getting weird,
Yep.
and then the old car business is getting to be such a niche that I honestly feel that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a few really good restoration shops.
Oh yeah,
And
I agree with you.
Yeah, and then, the people like us are going to be gone.
I think you and I could work till we're 90. I think if I closed and you closed, I think you and I can go find somewhere to go.
I couldn't even just step over that telephone cord.
Yeah, well, you're going to end up like me. You're going to have your knee replaced.
Yeah,
you're going to have it done. But also, I think like I said it already a couple of times, that when push came to shove, a lot of my friends, you included. I mean, you stepped up the biggest. I don't mean to keep. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, but you really did. You stepped up the biggest. I mean, because you offered me a place to go, a whole nother building, a whole nother setup. So it was no. Everybody else was offering me a job, but it was just still nice. It was I don't know. Again, and my wife couldn't believe it. Because again, my wife is a little older than me, but talking back, like she said, back then, business was cutthroat. Yeah. You woke up every day to undermine that guy down the street.
Yeah.
And she goes, to know that these guys have separate shops from you, being in business, but they all reach out to try to help you.
Yeah.
Not one guy.
That's what it's about. That's what I think it's what it's about.
And I know if Brian was still alive, he would have.
Yeah.
I know he would have.
Yeah.
Brian and I were on good terms.
Yeah.
And I know he would have. And let me tell you, I don't know. To me, to the viewers, I think that accounts for something.
I
100%. I don't think you need to wake up every day. Because, honestly, and again, not to give the Kindig and the Chip Foods and all those guys, but they're all friends with each other when they go to shows.
Yeah.
They all go, they all have their certain things that the customer likes you, and the customer likes what your work. So they might walk by another big builder, but I like the way he does it.
Well, think about Tommy Ingalls. You think anybody at the time would have got the Jar Barton? Like,
no,
they were so close. They would hang out together. They go to shows. They build a relationship.
And Jar Barton had the money to go anywhere he wanted.
Yeah, and he loved Tommy.
And
Tommy loved him.
Tommy loved him.
Yeah.
Tommy, I can't tell you how many times I went with Tommy down to the marina to where Jarv kept the cars.
Yeah.
Just to move cars for him.
Yeah. It was a thing. Same thing with Anderson. Tommy was real,
Yes.
The Anderson guy. I didn't know.
Yep.
I never met. Right? I think I met him a couple times, but they had a great relationship.
Yep.
It's just crazy.
Yep. Yeah. Tom would just, hey Jay, he called me up. Hey, what are you doing? I was home, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, can you come up to the shop for a while? I'm like, what do you need? I want to go down and move some cars for Jarv. And he goes, we got to take a car back. Something we were going to work on or whatever. I'm like, okay. So he because Jarv had them buried in there. We had to move 10 cars to get one out.
Yeah.
But most of they were all 6 volts. They were dead. He had to jump things, and Of course,
did you say that Cadillac he had? I was amazed at how good it's so stupid.
The 32?
No, it was like a 50 something black.
Oh yeah, the black
convertible.
Yeah.
The doors on that car shut so good. Like to this day, I'm just like amazed. Like you could just one figure.
Let me tell you something. Tommy didn't even begin to show me everything he knew.
Yeah.
Tommy before he was killed, but he was just literally scratching the surface with me.
Yeah.
I was always upstairs.
Yep.
Upstairs where most of the restoration was done. When he
was at the old building.
When he was at the old building,
yeah.
when behind Moore, and so the collision was downstairs and the restoration was upstairs. I was usually 95% of the time I was upstairs, and at night by myself, you know, or with him on Saturday. And but again, he was always so busy.
Yeah,
him and I would get, and then he would leave. He's always, I'll be right back, because he used to do the boats, and then he did the motorcycles were big. So I was there doing bikes too, and welding and gussets, and but if he had really, I was tucked under the wing, and he was pulling me closer, when the accident happened. And he wasn't in the new building yet, and that when the accident happened, it was built, but he wasn't in yet. Cliff was in doing airbrushing. But
well, Tommy, when he passed away, he was in the new building.
He was not all the way in. Well, yeah, he was in.
That's
right. You're right.
Yeah,
he was in.
I was in his.
He didn't have it all. It wasn't all like running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was still some things like in the second floor. The first floor was he was out where the paint booth was. Yeah, that was all out.
Yeah, because I remember I was in the shop in Salem with him when he was still alive, and that's when he passed away. Right then. Yeah. Right at the end. That was shitty.
So that was bad. But it was. But I think if I could have stayed with him longer. I think
it's funny because he would tell me things, and he was so right. Like I was amazed. Like running a business, he was always go go go.
Oh yeah.
And then his employees would just fuck him over. You know, go behind his back, try to talk shit. And I would ask him, like, how do you let these guys keep these guys here when they talk so much shit? And he goes, because they're just always going to talk shit. And he goes, they're going to go nowhere. They're going to do nothing. I goes, I just don't even give a shit. Just kind of.
Which he was right.
Yeah, he's totally right. You know. And then when he passed away, you know, two of those guys tried to nip at his heels and get everything, and they just screwed it up. And I remember customers going to the, and they're like, they went to him because they thought he was the guy, because Tommy never talked poorly about these people when they worked for him. And then they go to the shop and they listen. Every time I go there, the guy's stoned. His place smells like weed. Not somewhere where I want to spend $150 grand on a motorcycle with. And now I couldn't even tell you where any of those guys are today.
One's dead.
Oh, is it really? Which one?
Larry.
Oh, Larry. Yeah.
Larry's dead.
Oh, no shit.
He died a couple years ago. He wasn't in good health.
Yeah.
Wasn't in good health. And then Ray. I don't know where Ray is.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ray. I haven't seen Steve.
Yeah.
They
were the ones.
Steve? Yeah, Steve.
Steve, I think, was the other one. There was a couple there. That was the problem. See, Tommy always wanted me upstairs.
Yeah, I couldn't. I wouldn't.
He was like, "Don't. I don't want you down there. I don't want you with those guys."
Yeah, they would have destroyed you. He would have killed.
I don't want you down there.
You would have killed. I would have loved to see that actually, because a couple of those guys needed their ass kicked.
Yeah, he was always like, "I want you to stay up here," because times on Saturday, Jar would go upstairs.
Yeah.
So I'd be back there. There was the one corner where we had Jar's Packard Caribbean.
Yep.
So we were over there working on that. So I'd be over there. And then you came in that side door. It was all open up there. And there was always 3 or 4 cars up there all the time. You never put too much up. That's the one thing I'll give Tommy. He didn't put 30 cars up there. It was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Just
so you could work on them nice.
Nice, because he had to have a spot for his boat.
See, I don't remember that. First time I went there, all that stuff was already gone, and his ex-brother-in-law was there with the snap-on shit.
Oh yeah.
I never really went in there.
Yeah, Tommy got in. Well, Tommy got into the boats for a while, and then I was also working for Tom Vittori at the time, and they were both boats guys, and they were doing.
His name just came up again. He's still around. I didn't realize he has a.
He won a big lawsuit, but then now he's.
He has a body shop in Cromwell.
Is it Cromwell?
An Alpac driver or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
I haven't heard about him in 20 years.
Yeah, well, he got his leg broken by a garage door.
That's what I said.
In like 5 places. Yeah, and he won a lawsuit. Again, another talented guy. Tommy was awesome. Tommy Engel.
Yeah.
Was awesome. If I could have stayed with him for 15 years or so.
That would have been a game changer.
Oh yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Mostly for me.
Yeah. He was to me. He was like on par to be like the next big bike builder guy, because he hit that stuff so strong.
Well, the bike he was on was going to be in Cycle Drag or whatever, one of the magazines.
Yeah, he was in a bunch of magazines. But
yeah.
He was on every magazine right at that point. Every bike. I mean, we go to shows and. It was impressive, very impressive.
He was always in the PPG booth at Frank Murata's.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Well, they were really good friends.
Yeah. We ended up getting. That's how we got hooked up with them, because after he passed away, they still PPG needed their booths filled, because Tommy would fill the whole booth
everything.
Yeah, Dave would call and be like, I need, everything.
He'd have 10 bikes, then he'd have 3 or 4 cars.
Yeah.
And it's funny, he did. I mean, Jar always had presidents.
Yeah.
It was Jar wants a car, we got to bring it in. Or if Jarv was going to get his gold badge, because he was all about bronze, silver, gold to get awards and everything.
Yeah.
He was big on that, and so if they had to come in and get touched up, detailed, because they had to get details underneath.
Yep.
And I tell you, Tommy, it wasn't beneath him to be detailing a car.
Oh no, he worked. Yeah, he worked.
No problem.
No. It was funny because he was actually so on track. So like to this day, I'm watch people, especially under my motorcycle business, trying to build bikes and be the next big bike builder and get these big shops going and wanting to build these $1 million bike or $200,000 bikes. But Tommy, even back then, knew when we had the whole PPG booth filled with bikes, he'd have his custom bikes there, but he'd always have a new bike with a couple of things on it.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, he goes, on these big builds, he goes, I never made money.
No.
$150,000 bike back then, and you walk away with nothing because it's just blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And then, everybody's complaining about the price because it's so much money, but he doesn't make money. So he started using those bikes to get smaller stuff.
Yep.
And he was onto it. Like, if he didn't pass away, I think that would have been a huge ticket.
And he was getting good money just to do a base clear on a bike. So tanks, fenders, oil covers, or oil tank, whatever you had. And he would tell people back then it was $3,000 to $5,000 just to do, but basically, but nothing custom. Skim coat, straighten out the tank a little bit, make it look a little prettier, base, and a clear. No airbrushing, no nothing. If it was a Harley, you want to go back to a two-tone Harley, it was $5,000 or whatever, you know. But when it went upstairs to Cliff, that's a whole other different thing.
It was, but it wasn't that much money with Cliff. That's what's funny is I was going to say is a lot of those bikes, they're crazy paint jobs. The paint jobs weren't that much money, but when they got scratched, the insurance would pay more to fix a tank than what it cost to do the whole bike because there's nobody else that could touch it.
Yeah.
And so that was where you ended up making a little money out of it because everybody would scratch the bike, shipping it, bring it to shows or drop it.
But Tommy, when I worked for him, when he wanted to paint bikes, he goes, I'm not turning on that booth for fucking one tank.
Yeah.
So he'd have.
He knew because he was the one who kept telling me. He goes, you will go out of business if you don't charge for setup. Like when you're, I remember him wheeling all those things into the thing, setting everything up. He goes, it's going to take a day to get all these things up and prepped and ready to go just to go spray it for a few hours.
And he liked his booth clean.
Yeah.
He didn't want nobody wet sand and buffing, nothing.
No, he was kind of like onto that modern collision shop thing where back then. He didn't mind, he wasn't a total, like me, not a total neat freak, but just a clean shop, He didn't keep his office the best, I think his one down thing was he was gone a lot. Yeah, he was hustling around doing stuff.
He was always just hustling.
Yeah.
So he wasn't always there really running it. He was always, I'd get there. He'd tell meet me at 8 o'clock. I'd get up there Saturday, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but you think about it.
I had a key.
He'd be at the auction buying cars, flipping cars, Then he also had a gig that many people
His father.
Yeah, helping his dad out. But then he'd also had a gig that people didn't know that once a week he'd go to some really wealthy guy's house with a shitload of cars, and he'd have to start them up every morning. He'd go to 4 o'clock in the morning.
No. He wasn't not making money.
No.
But he wasn't always there running the business, though. You know what I mean? I mean, his desk was pretty covered over. He wasn't Mr. Businessman, nice neat files. He wasn't that, but he was always hustling. I mean, dude, he had a stack of cash on him.
Oh, I know.
All the time.
Oh my God, dude!
All the time.
To this day, it was the most money I've ever seen in my life.
All the time.
He'd have those plastic Tupperware bags that you put like sweaters in, filled with cash.
Oh yeah. It'd be nothing for him back then. $10,000 on him all the time.
Oh yeah,
all the time.
That was also a better time because people used to keep that to buy cars. Like a lot of people I know always had $10,000 cash to buy a car.
Yeah, but he would think nothing to do with buying a smashed up bike.
Yeah,
he bought a lot of bikes, fix them. He did a lot of that.
Yeah,
a lot of that nobody really ever saw.
Yeah,
did a lot of that.
Well, that was the funny part. So with the bikes, if there was a superstition like you never buy a crashed bike. But he would buy them at the auction for cheap, flip them up, and not even tell anybody to sell them. Yeah,
but on the other side of the coin too, I'll never forget a guy came in with a '57 Chevy. I'll never forget it. And the guy wanted it painted. And Tommy goes, all right, well, leave it here. You can leave it with me for a few days. Let me get it up on the lift. Let me give me a couple of days to look at it. Because Tommy knew.
Yeah.
He was already in his early 30s or whatever, He was like 10 years older than me, 11 years older than me. So Tommy get up on the lift. And I'll never forget, I was at Middletown Toyota. So he calls me up. He goes, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing when you get out of there? And I was like, I don't know, going home, whatever. I was working in my garage, working on cars. Probably go home. He goes, why don't you come on up and look at this car? I said, all right. So I get up there. 6 o'clock. 6:30. He'd work till fucking 8, 9 o'clock at night. Get up there, fucking things all rotted. The rocker, the inner rocker. So it's a 4-door.
Oh, so it's worth nothing.
So he goes, dude, we'd have to make all this and everything. He goes, I don't even want to do this car, but I'm going to whack him hard. It's okay. No, okay, whatever you want to do. So that was like on a Tuesday night. I get back there Saturday, and the guy was putting it back on the trailer. And Tommy said, fuck you. Tommy said, fuck you. Get that piece of shit out of here. Fuck you. Tommy's yelling at him. The guy's yelling back at him. And I'm like, so I get up there. Tommy's laughing. I go, what's so funny is I told the guy, you look at 10 to 15 grand. And back then, that was a lot of money because it needed the inner rocker, it needed the outer rocker. The body mounts were gone.
And then you don't buy shit back then.
What made the guy mad, the guy back at that time, he spent like 10 grand in the car because the car was a decent looking car.
Yeah.
But it was making some weird noises. What the guy
creepy,
brought in for it, because then things all rotted. Somebody did the spit shine on the outside, shined up the paint, did a little Bondo work. So now the guy, Tommy, what the fuck you getting mad at me? And I tell you one thing, Tommy had no trouble giving it back to a customer. He would lay into somebody like you wouldn't believe.
He recommended a guy to me, and I did the interior in the car, and then the guy didn't pay me or wasn't paying me. And Tommy comes by, goes, oh, how'd you make out with so-and-so? And I said, whatever. And he goes, no, how'd you make out? And I told him. And he goes, come on. He jumps in his flatbed, hooks the car on the back of the flatbed, drive to the guy's house in East Hampton. The guy has a little ranch down. His front yard is like a mountain. He backs up, unhooks the car, lets it right down goes all the way down, smashes into his front steps, into his door.
Really?
Yeah. He goes, when I recommend you do what you say, And I was like, I love that stuff.
Oh yeah, I went with him. I didn't go with him. It was we had a West Sand and Buff, a Corvette. Like the 85, 86. Yeah, that body, that newer first gen after 83. And the guy had tried to do something, put scratches in it bad. So we were upstairs and Tommy's like, it was factory paint, but he goes, let's try wet sanding it. Let's see what we can do. Let's go. So it was kind of hard to find 3000 grit back then.
Yeah.
But I think he has some 2000. So we're like trying to scratch, this thing's pretty, and there's a few of them on the hood, tops of the fenders. Looked like the guy tried to buff it and something got caught in the buffer. So Tommy goes, now that's the way it came in, right? So that's what we're here for, to get it out. Now, there was the one that was the worst one was the one we were working on. We got out, it looked 60% better. Other than that, we were going to go through. Tommy goes, I'm not painting this car. So the guy comes. But meanwhile, the guy didn't realize there was like 20 more.
Oh, wow.
He never knew it. So now the guy wants to blame Tommy for the other 20 that he didn't see. Because he saw the worst one, because it was right there on the top of the fender.
Yeah.
He didn't realize, it was like a burgundy purple color, So Tommy was, next thing you know, that thing's outside. Fuck you, screaming and yelling. I'm like, wow, man.
Yeah.
So because the guy was trying to blame Tommy. Tommy goes, how you going to blame? They're all the same.
Yeah.
They're just like this. How you going to sit there and blame me for something that, first of all, you did. You brought it to me to fix out what you admittedly said was wrong, that you did. And now it's all the same mark on the car that if you did this one, how did you not do the other ones? It does, to sit there and blame me, this just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it got pretty, I have to admit, Tommy was definitely a good dude when it came to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But again, that came with time, knowledge, and not taking people's shit, and so that's kind of what he did. And then the worst part is, I wish to this day he was around, because he was. I agree with you 100%. I think he was going to be that.
Yeah, just
after
to
the
see where he would
motorcycle
be.
thing died, I think he would. The restoration part of him would have.
Yeah.
Because that's what he really liked doing.
He was more of a car guy. Yeah. Yeah, I just always wonder where he would be, because he was so close. Like, a lot of the advice he had given me back then was so true even now. And to be that much, he was way farther ahead than everybody else.
Yeah, because he was already getting tired he was doing some dealer work, and he was getting tired of it back then.
Yeah.
He was getting tired of it back then, where you could make money on a $300 bumper job.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say before. Like, it used to be you would get a car with a scratch on the fender was your 350 fender.
Yeah.
Now it's 350 they want, and it's rust and damage. Like smack, and you're like, this is just insane. On tinfoil. Yeah. You know, it's like crazy.
Yeah.
It's
but again, he learned quick. He learned. I mean, in time of business, he really wasn't in business that long.
No.
He wasn't in business that long for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as far as
what was his deal before that? I never thought about that because I met him. He had the shop behind Jimmy. Then he got the other shop, and then he got the shop in Salem, and I went over there.
From what I understand, his father had highway service. That's where the name came from.
Oh,
so they were doing trucks. They did mostly like truck work.
Oh, okay.
They did truck work, and he was doing like fabricating, welding, and doing.
Pete had a business before that.
Yeah, so he was.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because their place though was almost in Colchester, a real small place.
Really small,
that's right.
Yeah. So Tommy liked the body work more than he liked mechanical.
Yeah.
He did not like mechanical. He had a motor in one of he wanted to put big blocks, I think, into his boat and had small blocks in it. He did not want to do it.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "What are you out of your mind? You got to change all the exhaust, man."
Well, didn't Jimmy do all the mechanical for everybody?
Yeah.
Because Jimmy did both, always did both.
But then again, there was a certain point, I think Tommy had misdiagnosed for ADD because he was fine, but then it was a squirrel, and he was off the next day. Or hey, Tommy, you got to come look at this, some deal, and he was off out of the shop.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, that there was times that he wasn't always.
He always had something going on.
He wasn't running the place. He would, dude. That guy, he was at the shop. He was 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning guy, up, out, doing stuff, down at the shop, but then all day, boom, 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 all day.
I felt bad for his sister when he passed away because he was selling the trailer.
Well, even his wife and his daughter.
That's for it. Yeah. His daughter was so little, and they were so cute kids.
Boo.
Yeah, he loved them.
Yep.
That was horrible. But he would hustle. So he'd sell the trailers. And then before he'd actually pay for it, he had a profit, he'd buy a car, flip it. And so he had this thing going. He would call us up and he'd be like, listen, he goes, the guys, because they would have a floor plan, so someone would come out and have to actually see the trailers.
Right.
He goes, this guy's coming. When he comes there, just act stupid, tell him that, they just left to bring it to the other shop. So they'd go to the Portland shop, and then he would say, it's over at the other shop. So by the time they would get there, they would say it was in transit, and there's no way at the end of the day they're driving back to the other shop,
right? Yeah.
And then he would buy, because I think at the end he had bought that Corvette that was like wrecked, and I think he actually ended up finishing it, but a lot of that money kind of went to there because he was always hustling, always. Yeah.
I couldn't keep up. It was too much. Even it was only my late 20s then, and I was like, I couldn't even keep up with him. Even back then, I was like, oh my god. Yeah. He was a bundle of energy. But I was never the wheeler dealer type. I tried. I've tried a couple of times.
You have to have that hustler mentality.
Yeah, you have to have that mentality. I had the truck, the trailer. I was wheeling and doing that, and I did okay. But I don't have that type of gusto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never did. I did and I didn't. It got frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. And for certain people, like for him, it seemed like he had more wins than losses, where a lot of people like me,
I have more losses.
Yeah, it's always losses.
Yeah. I got a buddy right now that's got 3 project cars, and he years ago, for years and years and years, he did good, but now he just bought 3 and he's like stripping them for parts because he can't sell them.
Yeah.
That's why I think when I got out of it, well, even before COVID, I sold my truck and trailer like even 2 or 3 years before COVID. I was like, I don't want to deal with that stuff no more.
Yeah.
I got tired of driving to New York, Pennsylvania, Vermont, New Jersey.
You're still only making a couple grand, so it's not even worth the headache.
Yeah,
especially now with fuel prices and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think now. I mean, the guys that do it. I mean, I see some of these classic car guys on YouTube. They're out there still doing it, and they're making their $3, $4 grand, $5 grand. I guess once in a while you hit a home run at 10. But I guess you got to love it. But then again, I always say, how much do you really love a car? If you just buy, if you go out and you buy a 69 Chevelle, go, man, look at this thing, isn't it gorgeous? And you're filming it, and the whole entire time you're filming it, you're all excited about it because you're going to sell it.
Yeah.
You really don't give 2 shits about that car. You could care less.
You almost have to be like a drug dealer. You can't use your own.
Yeah.
Supply,
you could care less about that car. You just, you hear, I was after this car, and I found it on Facebook, and I was able to get it, and you made this big effort to try and get it because you're just going to shove it down somebody else's throat.
Yeah.
You don't really care. You're just fine because the only reason you really care about is you knew you're going to score it for 22 grand. You know you can sell it for 30.
Yeah.
That's all you really care about. Why don't you just admit, say, hey, look, I know I'm going to score 8 grand, and be more happy about the 8 grand than the car, because the car really doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I
it
mean?
always gets to a point too. If you're a car lover and you care, they get to a point where they're hiding stuff and slubbing stuff up to just move it.
Well, that's kind of like where, and I was that guy. I was always bust my stones. Oh man, how long are you gonna have this one? And I got that, and I did. I had 100% it. I ended up having that reputation. I buy a car, build it, drive it, and then sell it. I have it ready in the spring. Not right now. I have a for sale sign on it. The fact that I've had this car for 3 years is out of the norm. But I'm tired of going out looking for a car, and I'm trying to find good cars.
Yeah.
And I think the car I have right now is an original floor, original locker. It's a unicorn at this point. And same thing with the Nova that I got. It's a 26,000 original mile car. Nobody ever touched it. I was the one that took out the motor, took out everything. It was unmolested. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I had to put little repairs into the floor, but it was all the original floor. It was beautiful. I'm like, so I think I got a couple good that I want to hold on to, that I think, okay, my daughter, my son-in-law, whatever they're going to do with them when I pass, sell them, whatever. My son-in-law says he wants to keep them, but he doesn't know how to drive a 4-speed, so I got to teach him how to drive a 4-speed. But but again, I decided now I really want to love my cars. I was that guy at one time.
Yeah.
I loved the money. I liked the car. I liked saying I had it.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say I've probably had 60, 70, 69 Camaros, but I probably only registered 12 of them. Since I've been alone in my shop, I've kind of become a little bit of a loner. I mean, I'm not really.
That's nice though, isn't it?
Well, but yeah, and I also I buy all my shit new. I don't really get involved with chasing, going to swap meets and going to look at stuff. I got away from all that. It's because of that.
Yeah.
Why do I really want to go buy a part that I got to take and I got to charge you 8 hours to restore it? Doesn't make sense.
Or the fact that your time becomes nothing because now you're out searching for parts.
Yeah.
I
mean, on the Z28 at the shop, the Rally Green one, I mean, he wanted to save everything he could. Okay, but he was more than willing to pay me. Like the front fender on the left side was all rotted at the bottom, but it was all rotted around the wheel well. And we're into the fender extension, and I made it all. And I butt welded it and fabricated, and I know guys were coming in my shop going, why are you wasting your time? Well, first of all, the fender fit like a dream. And I'm not welding it anywhere it's going to affect where it's going to be fitting. I mean, where the fender extension meets and the fender meet, I'm welding the metal above it, not the flange. Flange is beautiful. Kind of weird the way it lies, especially left side, no battery. But dude, I made it all. You can't tell. It looks phenomenal, but where it meets the door and everything, and man, that gap was. And I didn't touch any of the gaps. The guy, he want the way, and it's funny. That fender goes right back where it was. You go to put the bolt in it. Phew, bolt goes. I left the indent. I left it all.
It's funny how they do, because sometimes you're better off doing that because like some of them you have to shim to make them pouch out, puff out or something like that. Sometimes when you do it right, you don't need any of that. Just perfect.
Just left. I never took the frame off the car. I just took out the body mounts were nice. They were squishy, but put the new ones, just lower it, pop it all back in, popped it all back. Boom, bolt it all back up. Remeasured it.
It's funny because you're saying I'm dreading. I showed you that 70 Chevelle that guy where he shimmed. He was like.
No.
So when you look at the car at first, you're like, oh, because the guy told the guy it was done, it was ready for paint.
Oh, okay.
And then we ended up hiring the guy here, and then it was like a thing where he was trying to, every time he's supposed to be working on another car, he'd be working on the Chevelle because the owner's here trying to save face. Yeah, and so it was kind of getting weird. But when I jumped on it, I looked at it, and I go, the door needs to come out another 1/16 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch. And I opened the door up, and you look in the inside of the doors, been oblong so it could come out more. And then I look at it, and the shims on the driver's side fender are this far.
Stacked and racked.
Yeah, and then on the passenger side, it's pushed in.
Oh, so you got to go that way.
Yeah, so they must have never centered the hood and went off. I go, it's simple shit. So now I have to take all that shit off and just center everything back. But it's just like, people sometimes, they try too hard.
I got, buddy of mine was working on a 66 Chevelle, and on a 66 Chevelle, the radiator support comes out, and then the fenders bolt to it.
Yep.
So you can't. Can't move.
Yeah.
Can't move them in or out.
Yeah.
That's right. So he goes put the hood on it, and the hood's too wide for the opening.
So someone
At
cut
the
core
radiator
support?
end.
Did someone cut the core support and shrink it?
Brand new. It was a brand new one. So I said, so we measured the other one, the original, which was really wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And no, the measurement was around the money. So he ended up having to fucking cut the hood
Really?
to get it to fit.
Huh.
But, so segue into, I came across, on my Nova, the mouse got into the hood,
Yeah.
and of course it rotted the lip. So that's what mouse shit does, right? So a guy on Facebook had a brand new AMD hood, $100 in Southington,
Wow.
with the SS Chrome inserts, which I didn't really want, but for $100 for
yeah,
everything,
it's cheap,
the
yeah.
inserts are $265. They're brand
Yeah.
new. The hood's $469.
Oh, they came with them.
Hey, it was all for $100. I go to Southington, I get there. Guy's got this big, beautiful house. Couldn't find out the guy that used it on the mattress store. So now I just threw the hood on the Nova, and didn't pay no attention to it. Just threw it on and closed. Okay, beautiful. So Saturday, just this Saturday, I said,
Recently. Oh, wow.
I'm going to go and work on the Nova today. I'm going to finally line up the hood. I got all the body work done. Floors are done. Body work done. Just a bunch of whiskey licks.
Yeah.
Whiskey licks on it, So I'm going to go in there and finally line up that brand new hood that I put on the car. So it's got to come forward and it's got to go over. Now, I had the front end off the car, but again, nobody else ever did it. When I put the
And this
bolt
was,
back-
what, 70?
71.
So,
So when I put the front end back on, it all went right back to where it was. And of course, but I do my crisscross measurements.
yeah, time and everything.
Oh, okay. That's good. So and the hood was opening and closing fine. But when it needed to come forward and over. So when I'm doing that, what's going on? It won't, it's like the front end's tilted or the hood's made wrong.
Or the hinges are bent or something?
No, the original hinge. I don't know. They open and close like I didn't even sandblast them yet. They still got all the original grease on, and they open and close like a dream. So then I'm sitting there going, what's going on? So like 45. I'm sweating. It's so hot. It's Saturday. I'm drenched. I'm like, oh, I sit down, drinking some water. I'm looking. I'm like, oh, I don't know. So then I open it up. Well, I'm at the end of the road. I'm on the hood hinge, the elongated holes from the factory. And I'm at the end. I can't go anymore on the left side. But on the right side, I got all kinds of room. I'm like, what's going on? So I measure from the end of the hood where the bolts go in.
Yeah.
The fucking holes are in different places. So the hole, so like these holes are here, and these holes, this
So there's like stamped wrong for the...
where when they put them in, yeah. So I call a buddy of mine, I'm like, he's got a Yanko Nova, he's got some, I go, he had an original NOS tail pan for it, because again, the mouse piss got in there.
Yeah.
And then he had a used hood, because mine was all dented and smacked. A used trunk lid. So I said to him, hey Phil, you got a couple of hoods? I said, just so I can try.
Yeah.
So if I could put on an original hood, and because the original one lined up great, but when I did the measurement, so the hole here should be here, where the nut is.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's hard to fix. I can cut it, move it.
But you
Not
just
going
want
to
to
be
know
hard.
before you butcher it up.
But I'm sitting there going, because like I said, I want to move it. If I can move the hood just this way, I'm good. It won't let me. I'm at the end. I don't want to hog out the hinge.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I'm sitting there going, what's going on? So I called my buddy. So I'm dying to, but he just had a hernia operation. So I got to wait. So I got to wait to go up to his house. He was in Portland. Get an original 1970 hood, came off a car.
Yeah.
And then put that on and go, okay, I already know my measurement. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
I still want to put on a hood just to make sure something else isn't.
Yeah, it's
but I'm
weird.
like, I'm sitting, because it still has all the original body bushings on it, everything. Everything's still on the car. I have the new ones, but I didn't put them on yet. So I'm like, but I did. I measured. I'm like, it's off by 3/8 of an inch. That nut, where they drilled and they spot welded the nut in, should be this way a little. Both of them should be that way.
But they're adjustable, but they're maxed out.
But they're maxed out
Yeah.
on one side.
And that's a cowl car too, so the hood, you want it even with the cowl,
Yeah. So I'm sitting there going, wow, this is unusual. It's really unusual.
That's what's nice what you always do. Sometimes you get confused. If the motor's not in the car, you pick one person to sit in the engine bay.
Yeah.
And you sit there and we line up the hood really good. Then they go
Right.
from underneath and mark it. And then you're like, oh.
Well, I had another Nova that I had bought a few years ago, and I bought new fenders for it from ground up. round up, right? A left and a right fender. Brand new. I open them. Oh, God, these are gorgeous. I go to put them on the car. They're like so twisted. Where it meets the rocker. I mean, it's one thing to be this far out of the box. They're this far away, and they're like, what is going on with this? So I do some Google and do some research. Yeah, that inner structure that's welded to the door jamb part of it. Come to find out they were all bent wrong and made wrong, and they still sent them out anyway.
Yeah,
so they're telling you in the video you got to drill them all out, put them in a slip roller to put it, and I'm like, $269 for a brand new fender, and I got to spend the next step. So I called her up. I called up Teresa, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want these shoes, Jay. They're all the same.
They're all, yeah.
So she gave me back like my money, not all of it. She gave me back some of it.
Yeah.
And then you know what I did? The fenders that were on the car, they were just rot at the bottom, so I just cut off the bottom. So they become scrap. But that's how bad. I'm like, one side was better than the other side, but it was like somebody put them in something and they twisted it.
Yeah.
But she said they're all like that.
Yeah, it's weird how that. I know exactly what you're saying because I've had that happen in a lot of their parts.
And what's the only thing I'm going to agree with is the hood that I bought. The guy bought it 4 or 5 years ago. He didn't buy it like
after COVID time.
He bought it 4 or 5 years ago. So, which is about the time I bought those other fenders.
Oh.
So I was like, all right, could be some bad stampings or bad, but this was the bad. I've had one other time. I've had other times where holes have been drilled in a wrong spot and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I even bought a quarter panel one time for a Nova where the marker light was in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that. I don't even get that. I remember when Adam started Innovative, and he was my neighbor. He just started, and he came over. He goes, "Can you come look at something for me?" And he had just bought, I think it was a Nova, a square Nova, and he's like, "Look at the body lines," and one side was totally different than the other side. He goes, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, you could either like send it back and hope they send you right when I keep playing that game, or you could cut it, hammer and dollar." Yeah. And I think it was shocking. I remember when they first started, they thought you just buy parts and put them on like new cars.
Yeah.
And you would just do it. And it's like, not the case.
Yeah. And lately I haven't really, knock on wood, I really haven't bought anything lately because everything's been coming to me. Either I'm fixing it or, although the big block car that I'm doing, the quarter panels and everything went beautifully. He bought, even aftermarket door skins, they went on with no problem.
I've been trying to use more original stuff as possible and then get away from the restoration for the upholstery side because some of the materials are impossible to get and the stuff you're getting isn't good.
Isn't quality.
So you're almost just better off knowing, like, I have a handful of places that I know that are good. So you say, if we get this, we know it's consistent and we can reuse it.
Right.
Although we just had a material that I've been using for over 20-something years and it's totally different. I bet you that material right there that FedEx just dropped off with the big sign that says, filming, do not enter.
Right. That he ignored. Yeah.
I guarantee you it's half the thickness that it used to be.
Which I think, to segue out into the fact that the cost of everything going up, the quality, I think, is going down.
For half the product.
Yes. Well, same thing in the grocery store.
Yeah.
You go buy my wife bought these protein bars.
Yep.
And the package is all puffy. But when you take it out, the thing was this long.
Really?
And it was $6.79.